But I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 0.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. And hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It's Tuesday night, and that's one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. We do this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, and like I said, this is Troubled Minds. And what are the things we can't talk about? You know what they are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. The show is live. We broadcast this show live on the Fringe FM. We stream on Facebook, YouTube, and D-Live. And we're taking your phone calls tonight. If you want to be part of the show at any point, you can give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And you could also join the Discord at troubledminds.org. Discord is a chat client. It's a voice client. It's a fantastic program that's really put all the old voice clients to shame, and it's turning into a multi-function platform. You can video stream and all kinds of other cool stuff on there, but it's that part's not important for this particular setting. The important part is you can call in just like you're calling in on a radio show, and so you can do that by going to troubledminds.org, click the Discord link. It will give you a direct invite, and then just jump in the caller queue. I'm watching that as we go tonight, and talking about this and all the rest of the things, and well, that's what's up. That's what this show's all about. We have another Discord running also at fringe.fm/chat. Please join the Discord there. Lots of smart people in both having good conversations about very, very similar things. Because, of course, that's what we talk about here on not only the Fringe, but also Troubled Minds, is that we talk about, how the world really does seem like it's upside down. With in particular, let's go to what we're going to talk about tonight. Speaking of an upside down world, we have a UFO report come out on Friday, which we did a special stream for, right? A special Friday night stream, which we normally do not do, but we couldn't miss it. We just absolutely could not miss it because it was the UFO day of the century, was it not? We had that huge report hit, and all 9 pages of it with the title page and then three glossary pages. so if you subtract 4 from 9, my math isn't the best, but I think that's a 5-page report. So we weren't really too far off, were we, with the initial guess of a 4-page thing? But so in any case, sort of part of the upside down is that we get leaks, the media leaks, the government leaks, everybody leaks all the time, right? And so we have no idea which leaks are legitimate, which leaks are completely made up. Everybody out there you talk to has some sort of sources. You notice if anybody follows UFO Twitter at all, everybody's got a damn source or 3 or 5 or whatever, and everybody's like, I'm hearing from my sources that this might happen and that might happen and the other thing also might happen. Oh no. Well, guess what? I have 0 sources. My sources and my secret weapon are you. You, that's right. If you're out there listening to me, you are the secret weapon of this show, because maybe you can fool one of us, maybe you can fool 2 of us, but if you have an entire army of troubled minds out there, you can't fool all of us. And that's why we do it in the format we've always done it, and take your phone calls and have these discussions, because the more people we get together with, let's say, like-minded people, the more we end up being able to crowdsource information, the more we get that wisdom of the crowd effect. And it's sure, fool me, that's fine. I've been fooled before, I'll be fooled again. I'm not going to be too upset about it. But the point being is that what's going on in this world we live in? It seems like all this propaganda and all the BS, and especially now with all the UFOs, it's got to make you wonder, right? It's got to make you wonder. So as we know, this UFO report hit. I'll do a quick recap of that as we get going, just in case somebody missed the Friday stream, or you've been living under a rock and didn't realize that the UFO report of the century, that's right, I said the century, the UFO report of the century is out. And it's on Friday we talked about it, went through it line by line, and it does seem, well, let's just use the word underwhelming. How about that? Some people are hyping it up like it's a big thing, it's a hot thing, it's going to change the world. The government has admitted they don't know what these things are, but I'm pretty sure they've said something similar before. I don't know. You tell me. So in any case, like I said, we're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, and you can get in here and talk about this UFO report, or whatever else is going on in the world, because, well, it's your show too. Just if you're going to derail, just don't take too long. How about that? I think that's probably a fair rule here. But okay, so let's go to the report. This is the report itself. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to link it. We did this on Friday, so I'm not going to spend too much time recapping this. But like I said on Friday regarding this UFO report, I was probably more interested in what was happening with the press, okay, with how they were going to report this and what was going to happen with the news cycles come Monday. All right. Well, it's Monday, or it's Tuesday actually. So we skipped the weekend, and let's snap our fingers and time travel from Friday's show to today's show. Now we've had a few days to not only ourselves digest what was in this actual report, but see what the press is kind of talking about, not just yesterday but today. So we'll get into some of that. So notably, let me just burn through a little bit of this. If you guys didn't catch the show on Friday, like I said, I realize not all of you can catch every show, so I got to make sure we do a little bit of catching up here. So bear with me just a sec as we point out some. They actually have a new classification system. All right. So they're saying that the UAPs probably lack a single explanation. And so this is probably the best sum up of the entire thing is right here in this part. So let me just read this a little bit and then give you the new categories that they've laid out for UAPs, UFOs, for whatever's going on with this. So here we go. And yes, TMZ does have a special that's out. TMZ, I think, is airing a special right now, or in an hour Pacific time, something like that. Some people have seen it on the eastern seaboard or whatever because of the time change. But I think the thing is that we'll talk about that tomorrow. Because I haven't seen it. But anyway, so let's go to this. UAP probably lack a single explanation. And again, this is from the UFO report of the century, right? If you don't remember, we've been talking about this ad nauseum since December. So in December, there was a provision put in the COVID relief bill that by June 25th, the U.S. government had to come clean on what they know about UFOs and also provide unclassified report, not declassified, unclassified report to the American public. So this is what has been provided to us with all of our hard tax-paying dollars. We get this. Straight from the report, the UAP documented in this limited dataset demonstrate an array of aerial behaviors, reinforcing the possibility that there are multiple types of UAP requiring different explanations. Our analysis of the data supports the construct that if and when individual UAP incidents are resolved, they will fall into one of 5 potential explanatory categories. And those categories are, drum roll please, airborne clutter, number 1. Airborne clutter, that's right. Number 2, natural atmospheric phenomena. Number 3, U.S. government or industry developmental programs. Number 4, foreign adversary systems. And number 5, other, right? So notably, I think that it's safe to say that probably most of us aren't even interested in the first 4, are we? Airborne clutter, natural atmospheric phenomena, U.S. government or industry developmental programs. That starts to get a little bit interesting, I guess. And then foreign adversary systems. Maybe some interest there as well. But the 5th one is called other. And what they describe that as, although most of the UAP described in our dataset probably remain unidentified due to limited data or challenges to collection processing or analysis, we may require additional scientific knowledge to successfully collect on, analyze, and characterize some of them. We would group such objects in this category pending scientific advances that allowed us to better understand them. The UAP task force intends to focus additional analysis on the small number of cases where a UAP appeared to display unusual flight characteristics or signature management. All right, so that right there is basically like the entire report kind of boils down to that line right there, right? That's the line, is that, well, sure, we got it. They've actually classified some UFOs as other. Well, what does other mean? Well, some people have said the others, right? The others. I don't know. You tell me. Like this is not. I was in good spirits about this Friday because I kind of knew what to expect. I really kind of knew that we were going to get a nothing burger or a crap sandwich or whatever you guys want to call it. I just had a feeling, right? There's no chance after 75 years of a cover up that suddenly the government's going to just be like, oh, by the way, here's the aliens. Of course not, right? Of course not. So I was not surprised that it was a whole lot of nothing, all right? But they did leave a little sliver of doubt in there, leave the door ajar for an alien to squeak through if necessary. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about this and what you think about this. And then tonight, of course, we're going to look at some of these stories that have kind of cranked out over the past several days based on what the media says about this. And that was the most intriguing part of this to me, is what the actual media was talking about regarding this UAP report. All right. And so TMZ has their special tonight. It's going to be airing, I think, in like an hour or 20 or 40 minutes or something, 8 p.m. Pacific. I saw some people have seen it. Some people have not. I'll check it out tonight. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And so I don't know. Right. So think about it. We've gone from 60 minutes to the 60-minute special. And now a month later, we've got TMZ. Let's see. Yeah, sorry if this offends anybody. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But it seems like we're going backwards, is it not? This seems like maybe something that should have started on TMZ and then maybe escalated to 60 minutes. It seems like we're slipping backwards. But okay, whatever. It is what it is, and that's why we talk about it in the context we talk about this stuff. So, all right. So that's what's on deck tonight. That's what we're talking about. And like I said, if you want to be part of the show at any point, you have a a open line and you can bend my ear about whatever you want, and hopefully it's UFOs. If you want to be part of the show, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. All right, now let's look at what the media was saying about this. In some cases, there's a whole bunch of this that we can kind of check out and look at, but it's let's see. Let's start here. Let's start with this guy. Let's start with popculture.com. This is from a TV show, or they cover TV shows, obviously, popculture.com. I'm going to link this in the chat, and you guys can see. And by the way, we have the top comment of the night is this. John on Facebook says, "Who digested that turd sandwich they gave us?" There you go. I like it. I'm endorsing it, and I've pinned it to Facebook. So there you go. There's the comment of the evening so far. Top that, people, without vulgarity, please, if possible. Go as far as turd, no further, please. All right, here we go. Let's go to this article. I've linked it in all the chats, and this is what we're talking about tonight. In particular, how the media and how people in general are responding to this UAP report. Okay, so we've been covering this the lead up all the way to this, and it ends up becoming whatever this is, right? Whatever this happens to be. So here we go. This is from popculture.com, and yep, that's right. The X-Files creator Chris Carter slams the DOA Pentagon UFO report. What does DOA mean? Yeah, that's right. Dead on arrival. That's what that means. All right, let's read some of this. On Friday, the United States government released a new report about unidentified aerial phenomena. That, to the disappointment of many, reportedly doesn't contain particularly revealing or conclusive information about unidentified flying objects or their origins. That being said, plenty are using this to fuel even more conspiracy theories about UFOs and what might be out there in the universe. However, Chris Carter, who created the iconic sci-fi show The X-Files, wrote an op-ed for the New York Times urging people to not see this as evidence of alien life. Well, I'm glad his clarity is there. but anyway, he's so the creator of X-Files is slamming the report. All right, it continues. So of course, the X-Files, we all know, fantastic show, ran from 93 to 2001, spawned 2 movies and a 2-season revival in 2016, etc., so on. But according to Carter, these UAP reports will only cause people to put on their tin hats. They got it wrong. You got to say tinfoil hat. Come on, get it right. Tinfoil hat. Quote, the portions that remain classified will only fuel more conspiracy theories, Carter wrote. Quote, this is X-Files territory if ever there was any. But it's also cause for some important questions. All right, questions. What kind of questions? You're in the right place if you want questions, because, well, that's what we do on this show. We don't take any of these UFO narratives hook, line, and sinker. We don't believe it just because George Knapp introduced it, though I respect him a great deal for all the work he's done over the years. Still, I really have a problem believing everything without being skeptical, especially considering UFOs have been such a, let's say, contentious topic for, over 70 years now. And so not only that, right, it's kind of been the whole stigma. If you were a pilot, you couldn't report seeing a UFO without risking, losing your career. Or the military, they said, that there are reports from people on the inside that said they couldn't report these things because they would be ostracized or laughed at or some other things. So that's what we're talking about. So with all of this, all of the stigma, all of the cover up, all of the stuff that we've been talking about since we started this show. It's been a little over 3 years. Like I say, I like to say that because I'm very proud of that. But going back 70 years, there's been nothing but cover up, nothing but spin, and then interestingly, this is what I took note of Friday, if you guys weren't watching the show. And this is what struck me. There's a couple of inconsistencies in this report. Okay. Meaning clearly, unequivocally, it's incomplete. It's incomplete. There's no chance that this is everything, because they stated there's 140 reports or something, right, since 2004. all right, which is the scope of this UAP report, which is fine, right? Fine. Sure, fine. 140 some reports, whatever it was. But keep in mind, Ryan Graves, a fighter pilot that worked off the Atlantic seaboard there, the eastern seaboard in the Atlantic, and he said every day for a couple years he saw UFOs. Every day for a couple years. Now, my math is terrible. So what's 365 days in a year times 2 years? He saw them every day. I'm going to assume a couple means 2. So let's say approximately, in the range of 700 sightings by this one dude, one guy. All right. He says he was a fighter pilot. He saw UFOs every day for a couple years. So let's say that's in the 700 range of sightings. All right. But we have 140-ish from this report since 2004. All right. So we have some glaring holes here. We have some really, really big problems already. OK, just on general reporting. Let's see the thoroughness of the people that were going through this information. Clearly, it's not all the stuff from Project Blue Book, right? Like how many of those reports were cataloged? Thousands upon thousands of reports. So if this guy's seeing 702 years approximately, and Project Blue Book had thousands over a decade, how come we only have 144 since 2004, right? And so in the report, they stated that the reason for that was, of course, that we didn't have a actual reporting procedure for UFOs. All right, that's what's going on. We didn't have an actual, people didn't know what to do if they saw the UFOs, and they did mention in the report, to their credit, they did mention the stigma, meaning that people were not really encouraged to report UFOs. So there's a lot here, right? There's a lot of problems with this. There's a lot of like Chris Carter said in that article, like he's kind of right. Like it makes people like me that follow this very closely, and people like you that listen and follow this very closely, doesn't it make you more suspicious? Like, okay, couldn't you have said, we've got 10,000 reports. If they had said something like that, and, we're still going through them and revisiting or something like this, right? If they had said something like that, I'd be more satisfied, because it would be like, okay, no problem. There's a ton of time that you'd have to take to kind of go through that with a fine-tooth comb. Take you more than 6 months at government speed, probably 70 years at government speed, But I don't know. I think that's part of the problem here, is that we have an incomplete reporting of this UAP report, which hit on Friday, by the way. They delivered it on time, if you can believe that. And then we have thousands of sightings back to Project Blue Book. This guy Ryan Graves says he saw 700 or so with his own eyes, or his own radar, by the way. We'll get to that a little later on. So suddenly his story is changing, which I tweeted that out a little bit ago to him to see if he'd comment, and no comment as of yet. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. It seems like, again, more obfuscation. All right, more kick the can down the road. More, well, we'll tell you when we know more. Well, you've had 70 years. I mean, Roswell was 70 years ago, for crying out loud, and they say that's when the cover-up began, right? So what's going on here? That's the question. That's what we're doing tonight, and of course, we're looking to hear from you. What do you think? After you've had a weekend to kind of digest this UAP report, how are you feeling? Have you seen what the press is saying? We got a statement from Chris Carter saying, nope, it's DOA, dead on arrival. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you other than I'm going to keep pressing. I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to keep my eyeballs on these details, because the devil is usually in the details, they say, right? And so we'll see. And we'll get to some leaks. Apparently, the classified version of this had some spicy stuff in it. And like Marco Rubio suggested, there are possibly leaks happening as we speak right this minute, happening right now, but I'm a time traveler, so I can pluck them out of the ether and give you some leaks coming from Richard Dolan right now in a live stream, I believe. So anyway, I can do two things at once. Watch this. Hold my beer. All right, so in any case, that's what we're talking about tonight. We're kind of circling back on this UAP report to see what the heck is going on, and we're taking your phone calls. What do you think about this? What have you seen from the press? Are you impressed? Are you depressed? Are you where do you sit with this? So in any case, that's what we're doing tonight. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Give us a call, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And taking your phone calls tonight. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds, more UFOs, more conversation when we come back. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls. What do you think about this UFO report, about the media response, and what should we expect next? Those are the questions for tonight, and we've got some more info coming at you. Some leaks, as Rubio suggested, and your thoughts. If you want to be part of the show, you know what to do. Give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. I'm going to put the phone number up and you can see it. You can also join the Discord at troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link and we'll put you on the show. Easy as that to join the caller queue once you get in, and there you go. There you go. Simple. Let's see. So what's going on? What is going on with this? All right, so let's go back to what we were doing here. Trying to keep up with all the chat and all the rest of this stuff. Very, very good stuff. Thanks, guys. Uh-oh. We got something going on out there. We got a barking dog. All right, so in any case, we're gonna have to not worry about that because I can't walk away right this second. But dog, stop barking. All right, so anyway, let's go to what we were just talking about Chris Carter. All right, so he actually slammed the UFO report as DOA, dead on arrival, and he was basically saying when you release kind of a nothing burger like this, I'm paraphrasing, of course, that we end up with more questions than answers, right? And of course, after kind of kicking the can down the road for 70 plus years, that's not really the type of thing that we should expect, right? And again, like I said, it's kind of a cherry picked, a portion of time here from 2004 to 2021, and only 144 reports, I think it was. So that's a problem, right? That's a problem. It shows you that the government in 6 months can't even access some sort of database. It means that somebody's not keeping track of this. If we're expected to believe that, right? Like, think about that. So we're expected to believe, okay, so here's some more plot holes, all right? You want some plot holes? Here's some more. So we're expected to believe something as serious or potentially serious, let's say, as UFOs flying around in the sky, right? UFOs flying around in the sky. We're expected to believe that the government hasn't kept a close tabs on this, right? Is that what we're expected to believe? Because, of course, given 6 months, they can only conjure up these 144 reports, all right, since 2004. So, to me, I think that there's something wrong with this. I think that I don't believe it. I don't believe that there's no, I'm sure maybe there was no reporting protocol since 2019, but what about Project Blue Book? What about, what about Project Grudge? What about what about ATIP? What about ATIP? Remember that? How quickly we forget that. Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP. Remember that? Lou Elizondo worked for that outfit, remember? Who's out from the government now pushing this disclosure project. So what happened to ATIP? Are we saying that ATIP didn't have like an easily accessible file cabinet, at least, of thousands of UFO sightings? Like I said, again, there's so many plot holes here that kind of makes me more suspicious, and very much like Chris Carter stating, when you drop something like this without any kind of additional data for people like us that watch it closely, what are we supposed to expect? What are we supposed to think? I guess that's the bottom line here. What are we supposed to think? It seems bad. It seems bad to me. So okay. So remember, most recently, ATIP supposedly was kind of keeping an eye on these things. Lou Elizondo was supposedly working for this outfit, which has been corroborated more so recently than in the previous days, because apparently it seems like the Pentagon is trying to smear him now, right? And so, I mean, there's an unbelievable amount of drama surrounding this, and we're still not even talking about the data. Right? It's kind of like, oh, well, it's just a little bit of data. right? Like 144 reports. And then they're saying that they could identify one as a balloon, as a deflated balloon, which actually brought us the term aerial clutter, by the way, which is fantastic. Don't you think we need T-shirts, guys, that say aerial clutter? I think so. I think there's something like this needs to be in order because, like I said, I didn't know garbage floated. I thought it, fell the opposite way. And I don't know. In any case, like this is the type of thing we're talking about. And again, looking to hear from you guys. I'm going to put the phone number up. No calls yet, and I'm a little perturbed. I'm perturbed. You guys not into this UFO talk? Too much UFO talk? What are we doing here? No, just a policeman outside, the dog barking. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm looking for Michael Strange. Is he here? Yeah. Well, I don't know. So anyway, give me a call. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Let's put the phone number up. All right. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're talking about that and the media response. Like I said, we've got plot holes on top of plot holes. Of course, this was a preliminary report. All right. This UAP report, it was preliminary. So I think, we should be able to give them some slack there because it wasn't supposed to be an expansive report. It was a preliminary report. But again, right, they did this because it was, mandated in some COVID relief bill. But what happens if there's no more mandates for any more information? Does this just die on the vine and go away? I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. And so that's kind of what this is all about is that what's next? What's next? Not just with the media, but what's next with the rest of this. All right, so let's go to some of this. Now I teased that if we're not going to get phone calls, I'm just jumping in some information here, which you guys need to see. You need to hear this. Now, Jeremy, well, let's see. What are we going to do? How do we do this first? Let's save that. Let's go to this. All right. So we have this in particular. Let's see. There we go. All right. So we have Richard Dolan right now on a live stream. And if you recall, there was a particular thing that Marco Rubio said just before this went down, right? He said, there's no way if there's a classified report that gets presented to Congress and there's spicy stuff in there, there's no way it doesn't leak. Right? He said there's no way it doesn't leak. You remember that? So with that said, let's actually hear exactly from the horse's mouth, Marco Rubio. And this is what he said just a couple days before they released this report.
This is June now. We're waiting for the hearing, not the hearing, the results from the report from the UFO.
I think they keep telling us it should be out any day now. So, I think we'll have more information. But I think at the end, I don't think people should be expected. It's going to answer a lot. There's going to be a lot of questions even after. And I think the gist of the report is probably going to be something like, these are documented events. These are the ones we can explain. These are the ones that we can't. But for me, it's about treating it seriously. This could be a foreign adversary with an advanced capability, and we can't get surprised by that.
We're not going to see a lot of retracted stuff.
Well, they're classified. It's not because they're keeping it secret. Well, they are, but it's not because they're hiding it from people. It's because they don't want people to know how they collected on that information. Like releasing it might give away some technological advantage we have, or the way we collect intelligence. So that's why they classify things.
That's the only thing that scares the public, because we see that time and time again, man.
The way politics are now, I assure you, if they classify it something spicy in it, ain't no way that doesn't leak. You know what I mean?
Okay. Right. Thank you so much, man.
There it is. Marco Rubio said it himself. I guarantee you, brother, if there's something spicy in that classified version of the UFO memo, there's no way it doesn't leak. All right? There it is. There's no way it doesn't leak. All right. So as I was starting, I happened to see somebody on Twitter posting that I guess Richard Dolan. Now, don't go run off to that stream. You can watch that after. There's plenty of time. It's going to be up. Don't anybody go anywhere. But apparently, right now there's a live stream going on where Richard Dolan says he has had information leaked to him from the classified report. And you kind of almost won't believe the things that they're saying in this leak, all right? This quote leak. Now, I don't know how accurate this is, of course, because you can't ever really corroborate leaks, right? Or sources or things like this, okay? But do recall that Marco Rubio did say himself, if there's something spicy in that report, the classified version, there's no way it doesn't leak. Well, Richard Dolan, live stream right now, is saying this. Here's a nice little splash of what he's talking about, and I linked it in the chat if you guys want to pull it up and look at it yourself, as I appreciate you do, because I've got, and I'll actually link you the Twitter source as well, and I don't know, like what the world is going on with this whole UFO stuff. But anyway, all right, here we go. It seems more propaganda than anything else. So here we go. Here's the leaks. This is what Richard Dolan is saying right now. Leaked to me today. And he's got a list. Let's read this list. This is what supposedly came off of his live stream right now. The classified portion of the UAP report given to a select number of congressmen and senators relates to the following. Number 1, Energy Pulse Propulsion System projects. And they call that EPPS, Energy Pulse Propulsion System Projects. All right, which would indicate what? That they're ours, right? There's number 2. It doesn't end there. It gets better. Again, these are leaked to Richard Dolan from a source of his. He's saying this right now on a live stream. Number 2, ion propulsion systems, he says. Ion propulsion systems. Number 3, yep, look what this says. Anti-gravity propulsion systems. That's what it says. Number 4, it gets better. You think that's not spicy enough? Number 4, antimatter propulsion systems. Yes. Now we're talking, right? Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're like, okay, that explains all the UFOs, that the government is working on anti-gravity propulsion and antimatter propulsion systems. Weird. Number 5, it continues. Ramjet hydrogen propulsion systems, RHPS. I don't even know what the heck that is. Does anybody know what a ramjet hydrogen propulsion system is? I would hope that it's kind of UFO-y, right? I would kind of hope. So there we go. Number 6, compressed nuclear propulsion systems, the CNPS they call it. And of course, there's more. Number 7, advanced use of exotic elements for energy research. And it says ET related items in parentheses. Advanced use of exotic elements for energy research. Weird. So is this a leak? Or is this more disinformation? Or is this, no offense to this individual, is this somebody making something up? Right? Who knows? Number 8, the K-Song, K-S-O-N-G, K-Song Energy Propulsion System Research Project, known as KEPSRP. Yeah, there we go. And then it continues on the bottom of this. And I did link this if you guys want to pull it up and have the list yourself. I'll find the Twitter source as well. This was just happening right as we started the show, so I had to grab this really fast and go quickly on it. But I'll read the bottom of this. And yeah, so this is apparently, supposedly, the leaks from the actual source inside of what Richard Dolan is saying leaked this information to him. And the paragraph on the bottom reads this. All these highly classified projects are under the control of the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, which of course is DARPA, and being managed by a classified group called Advance Group 6. All funding for these projects is black confidential, funds appropriated under intelligence operations costs. Some funds come from private contractors. Prototypes of flying crafts utilized the above technology are being flown at Area 51 and Tonopah Air Force Base Test Range. Some of the UAPs observed in and around Nevada can be attributed to crafts using the above propulsion systems. However, none of the experimental crafts have flown outside the Nellis Test and Training Range. By the way, I'm in Vegas, and Nellis is like, I don't know, 10 miles from me. So, I've seen some UFOs out here. Is this what I'm seeing? UFOs would be not aliens. not if we actually have the thing suggested in this file right here. This continues. None of these experimental craft can be attributed to the sightings photographed by the U.S. Navy. And I don't know, they got the little corrections. The contributed is actually should be attributed instead of contributed. So is this somebody messing with Richard Dolan? Is this for real? Again, like I said, I'm not the guy with sources. I'm not that guy. All right. My sources are rating everybody else on the internet and going, that doesn't make sense. So those are my sources. My sources are open sources. Okay. So, but you tell me, right? That list right there was a pretty exotic list of advanced propulsion techniques. All right. Now, I don't know what you think about Richard Dolan and his work or whatever. And this show isn't about that. It's okay. It doesn't matter. You can like him. You can not like him. You can be somewhere in between. It's all fine. But antimatter propulsion, anti-gravity propulsion. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm a little bit. I didn't expect the Rubio leak to be as juicy as antimatter propulsion or advanced actual anti-gravity propulsions. So I don't know, right? Like it seems to me like this is all part of a big psyop, right? That's what it seems to me. And including it could be the information being leaked to Richard Dolan, right? Imagine if the Chinese see this list, right? And they're like, oh, crap. Like, are they really working on this stuff, right? No, right? I don't know. You see what I'm saying, though? Like, this is the type of one-upsmanship that these militaries like to engage against each other in the propaganda wars, right? So if somebody can actually claim that we've got technology to replicate these UFOs as they're being seen, the Tic Tacs and these other things, then we have a serious military problem if you're an adversary, right? Or vice versa. And so it seems like in military terms that the largest militaries on Earth are going to tiptoe around this very carefully. And the reason I say that is because they want to make it seem like it's them, even if it's not. So let's say it's ET, all right? Just again, let's speculate a little bit here, stretch our speculation legs, put on our tinfoil caps, and think. Now, if this is ET, and we really can't quantify it, that means China and Russia probably cannot either, right? However, we would try back and forth to make the other adversary believe it was us. You see? So something like a leak to Richard Dolan, and I'm not saying, again, I don't know. I'm speculating. That all might be legitimate. It all might be happening. I don't know. Right? So I'm not going to comment to that other than it can't be verified because people that say, I hate inside sources, I hate leaks. Me personally. Exactly for that reason. Because you can't verify any of it. And so, right, and that includes political leaks. That includes leaks of every single kind. All right? I can't stand them because they politicize the hell out of them. They spin them. They use them in the media for clickbait. And you don't even know if it's real. It could be completely fabricated by the governments behind these things. So as a result, I don't know. What does all this mean? Anti-gravity propulsion. Think about that. Do we even have anti-gravity like in a bottle? Like, can we even create anti-gravity in more than tiny amounts at this point? I don't know. I'm not a physicist. I don't know. But I was under the... I thought, again, and I could be very wrong. I could be very wrong about a lot of things, including that maybe this is just all reversed engineered ET craft from the 1947 crash at Roswell. Who knows, right? Like I could be very wrong about that too. Who knows? So don't get me wrong. This is the question show, not the answer show. I don't know the answers here, but I am wondering if it is possible to actually create antimatter in a substantial way that you could actually create propulsion from it. I don't know. I really don't know. But this is pretty crazy stuff, right? This is pretty crazy stuff. And so I don't know where to go with this other than this was said by Marco Rubio. He actually specifically said, if there was something spicy in that report, it's going to leak. And now we have Richard Dolan saying, oh, by the way, a little birdie told me all this crazy stuff, right? And I say crazy because it seems hard to believe. I don't mean, crazy, like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. I don't mean that kind of crazy. I mean like WTF. Like, what is all this stuff? So I don't know, and that's where we're at tonight. And again, taking your phone calls. Now, what do you think about this? Do you think that these leaks are actually legitimate, or do you think that these leaks in particular are some sort of disinformation campaign that is, pitting one actual military against another, propaganda-wise? Matt says, notice they said nothing about Roswell in that report. Exactly. They said nothing about a lot of things in that report. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, looking to hear from you guys. What do you think about this? So number one, again, the question for tonight is, are you surprised at how the media is reacting? Two, this is breaking right now. Breaking as we started this show, that Richard Dolan thing going on. Somebody just posted that list to Twitter real quick, and I snatched it up and was like, okay, we're talking about that. But I mean, is this real? Could this be real? Is the government really working on all these crazy technologies? Energy pulse propulsion systems, ion propulsion systems, anti-gravity propulsion, antimatter propulsion, ramjet hydrogen propulsion systems, compressed nuclear propulsion systems, things like this. Is this stuff real? Or is this stuff just, what would you say? Fake propaganda. I don't know. I'm becoming quite an expert at propaganda, and I can spot it now very, very easily. However, I don't know how much of it is real, because any good propaganda is based in some form of reality, so it throws off the other side. Because clearly, if you just say off-the-wall stuff constantly, the other side will never believe you. You have to be able to tangle it and tie it back somehow to something that is based in reality. And so I just don't know. I don't know what this is all about, but these propulsion systems that are being suggested as leaks to Richard Dolan by Richard Dolan seems to me that there's something afoot here. There's something very interesting to think about and something interesting to talk about. So again, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037 if you want to be part of the show. What's going on with this? Should we be surprised? Marco Rubio suggested there's a leak. And if there's anything spicy in that report, there's no way in heck it doesn't leak. And here we are. The Tuesday after the report, it hit Friday. Richard Dolan's like, oh, by the way, I've got some leaks. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, there you go. Night Stalker in the chat says this. Yes, I think they probably have this stuff. Part 1. Part 2? But yes, it's probably all disinformation. Yeah, right? I don't know. You tell me. Looking to hear from you guys. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And if you want to be part of the show, you know what to do. TroubledMinds.org. Click the Discord link and get your ass in here. We're talking UFOs, and you guys are awfully quiet tonight. Awfully quiet out there. And so I don't know what to make of that. Am I scaring you? Did I run you off? Are you tired of talking about UFOs? Or are you just having so much of a good time that you're here instead, kicking it? Nobody calling. Call me, 702-957-1037. Could this stuff be real, or is this just another disinformation campaign concocted by some government somewhere to fool all the rest of the governments the world over? I have no idea. Again, this is the question show, not the answer show. And the phone number is right there, right down below. See it? 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're looking to hear from you. And we're taking your calls next. And we're still talking about this UFO report, how the media has ran with this or not, and some actual, what would you say? Some actual people reacting to this. Chris Carter, for one, saying it's dead on arrival. So anyway, 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More talk about UFOs, leaks, and more after the break.
a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you whom we also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is a Tuesday night, and that's one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what they are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We're reading your chat. We're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show at any point tonight, looking for some calls. We had Malorcas on the line and he hung up. No calls tonight. We're getting skunked. I don't know if that's really good or if that's really bad. But you can reach us at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can go to troubledminds.org and click the Discord link. Watch in the Discord for calls as well. Discord is a chat client, a voice client, and all kinds of interesting things going on in there with all kinds of smart people having discussions 24 hours a day. So if you have not joined that, please do. Also, join the Fringe Discord at fringe.fm/chat. fringe.fm/chat, and that will put you right on the on the tip of the spear with all the information. The Discords, again, we don't have to wait for confirmation of disclosure from the government, right? We just talk to each other. That's really what this entire show has always been about, is that if you crowdsource the information, you don't need it from the government, because guess what? Newsflash, the government lies. Newsflash, in case anybody didn't realize what was going on out there, newsflash, the government lies. So, I think as a result of that, we have to take this UFO report that we're talking about tonight with a grain of salt and kind of look at some of the things that are happening with it kind of in the periphery through the lens of the mainstream media, through the lens of people that may be in the know, like Chris Carter, who people have said in the past that he's the guy who created X-Files and made a statement about this, that he was talking about specifically that, or people have suggested that he had inside sources, and that's how he made the X-Files, was with some of this kind of soft disclosure through a television program. So anyway, looking to take your phone calls tonight. We've got Malorcas calling back. We'll go to him in just a sec. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And let's go to Malorcas45. What's up, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you?
Hey, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good, my man. I appreciate you calling tonight. What do you think about this whole UFO business?
I think anybody that's been into aliens and trying to follow on what's going on with this, knew this report wasn't going to present any new and groundbreaking information. So pretty much everyone got what was to be expected, and I think they're dragging it out with these leaks to try to get as much as they can out of it, because they had to put something out because of the COVID relief bill.
Which is unfortunately, like we've been calling it, a nothing burger or a crap sandwich, sadly enough.
Exactly.
So do you think, though, did you get a chance to read it? Or are you familiar with what was in the report, at least a little bit?
I've just been getting cliff notes from different talk shows and podcasts about what was said, and it's definitely nothing, to cheer about or what.
Yeah,
I just think that, especially the stuff with Marco Rubio saying, anytime you got government that's overseeing government, you're not going to get anywhere with that.
Yeah, even the departments from one to the next, they lie to each other. And so it's like, wait a minute. I mean, like they were saying that rumor on the street is that the people that were putting this report together were getting pushback from other departments within the government and not actually getting the data they needed. So that right there says this is kind of a bogus report to begin with. So okay, so we agree that there's probably nothing in this of consequence. What happens next? Do you think that this is maybe a springboard for something substantial down the road, or do you think that this kind of just dies in the water, like Chris Carter suggested, dead on arrival, and we get nothing out of this until, well, 2250, the year 2250, well past our lifetime.
Right, yeah, down the road, maybe there's something like Werner von Braun had mentioned about alien invasion, a fake alien invasion would happen, and maybe they could look back on this report and say somewhere in there's some blank Barnum statement that somewhat touches base on this, and they could say, see, it was in this report, and everyone needs to come together and duck and whatever the heck they were going to tell us to do. Just another way to control everybody.
Yeah, it sure seems like it, right? And so did you catch the bit about the leaks from Richard Dolan? What did you think about that? Antimatter propulsion. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're probably working on all that stuff. I would imagine that there's research going on for advancements of all types that I don't think we could just fathom as average people. But they're not going to get into specifics as to what they have or what they're really working on. It's all top secret stuff, and I'm sure they're combating with what China's doing and maybe Russia and other countries, and want to try to use it for space flight and colonize Mars. That's something about China wants to colonize Mars. I don't know how true that was. I only saw it once. I don't know if you caught anything like that.
Yeah, they're working on it. They're actually working on it. They've got a year-over-year plan for the next 10 years at least, where they're sending something up to either the moon or Mars. So they're definitely charging in that direction for sure. Yeah, it's happening, man. It's happening. So what do you think? If you got to strip it down to just nuts and bolts here, what do you think is really happening? Do you believe that there's an extraterrestrial presence at all in any capacity, or do you think it's all just a bunch of media hooey that's kind of disinformation?
Oh, this report isn't going to give any clarification as to what is actually going on with extraterrestrial life in our solar system or in our galaxy. I'm sure there is life out there in our galaxy. I'm sure they do monitor us. I think there's way too many reports out there. But I do think all evidence that is substantial will be kept under wraps for a long time until either they try to use it as a way to control us more by the fake alien invasion scenario, or they're out in the open and it is what it is at that point. I don't really see that happening anytime soon, of mainstream alien life on our planet.
Yeah, okay, so that's from the government, but what do you think? Do you think it's actually, it is here in some capacity, or do you think that's all just a bunch of BS?
Oh, aliens like monitoring the planet and our population, definitely. I actually definitely think that there's alien life that at least observe us, if not interact with us. And I kind of think that, what was that report? Can't think of it off the top of my head. It was on Art Bell's show a few times. I just can't think of it. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank on that.
Not Project Blue Book?
But basically, like aliens, if you were elected into an office and this is what really was going on, that aliens were here and they've had a contract and they've abducted people and they didn't get everything they thought they were going to get as far as technology advancements, stuff like that. I could see that being more real than some of the crap on this report.
Yeah, I kind of agree that they're definitely trying to string us along. For what purpose, though? I don't know. Like the people there's some people out there that are just wide-eyed and happy about this, that we're making steps toward disclosure. Come on, though. Come on. It's almost insulting, right? It's almost insulting. Yeah.
This is just not even a baby step. This is just something to put on paper to release to the public so they could say, look, we did it. We did what we said we were going to do. We did it. You don't like it, but this is what you get.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we're on the same page. I hate to be the Debbie Downers and to be talking about it in this capacity, but what else can you do? I see what I see, and I didn't learn anything new. Yeah, it's awful.
John, I remember now. It was like one of the John Lear reports is what it was, where it was on there, and it's like, if you were elected in office, this is actually what's going on. I believe that report would be more realistic as to what alien contact is like, with us, meaning everyone in the planet, versus, this, well, it's some stuff we don't sure what it is. It's probably just like a droid or, what, but that's just my thoughts.
Aerial clutter. Aerial clutter.
Yeah.
Of all things.
Aerial clutter.
Oh, geez. Malorcas 45, I appreciate you breaking the ice tonight with the first phone call. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the call. We'll talk to you soon, my friend. Have a great night, okay?
Yeah. Have a great night. Bye.
Thanks, man. You too. Appreciate it. There you go. Simple as that. You see, I don't bite. I'm just going to ask you some nice questions and have a polite conversation. I appreciate it. Malorcas 45 called in a long time ago. Calling in again, trying to keep us up to date here on what's going on with the world. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, and phone number is right up on the stream. And we've got Beechwood on the line. Let's go to Beechwood in Massachusetts. What's up, Beechwood? You're on Trouble Lines with Mike. How are you?
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Go right ahead.
All right, awesome. Because I sawed my good headphones in half with the circular saw, so I had to fix them to make sure the microphone works.
Are all your fingers all your fingers in place still? Or you okay?
The fingers are always in place.
Okay,
so
good.
Always, but so we're good.
Okay, good.
But I mean, I read the report. I've been thinking about the report, not the report, just the subject in general, and I've gone down every rabbit hole, that I can find, and I think about it a lot. At the end, it almost makes me think we're just living in the Matrix. But as far as the government report and us as general society, the government's playing chess, and general society's playing checkers, and they're ahead of the game. I think this is all a research project, like a PSYOP, like you said. Just a research project to see how people react. And I think they got a 10-year plan. I think it's a 10-year plan for absolute one government, one nation, one control. And with the amount of technology, the younger generations are getting more, they're just born into technology. So it's so easy to reach them. You can reach them at, if everybody has a phone, you can get them some information. A long time ago, it was word of mouth. At one time, word of mouth was the best source of information. And it's still great advertisement. It still is. And that's the one thing that fights with technology is the word of mouth. But, I don't believe anything, in the media with this saying. I think the technology is there, and I think it's been there. I think that I try to think about the people that run the world and who we think runs the world, and we talk about the 1%, but is it really the 1%, or is it the 0.0001%? Because just with the way the rules are set up and the laws are set up, it makes me think that it's the 0.0001%. And, that leads to a bunch of different rabbit holes. But even today, I woke up, I followed 100 different rules today. Just everything. I like a sheep. But, I don't know. The report was garbage. It was kind of a joke. But that's what we expected. So that's how you know how to do research. I just draw the line, what I think about a lot now is that people that are able to develop this technology, people that actually have the brains to do it, are they void to ethics? Are they between a rock and a hard place? If you can develop that technology, do you automatically work for the government, or does the government come to you and say, this is what you have to do? Like, that kind of scenario. Because if you're ruthless enough, you can get people to do the work for you. You can pay half the working class to kill the other if you can convince them. And that's, what the media is good at. So I think a lot about that. But, yeah, I just wanted to call because it was a good show. I wanted to see. I was hoping you would get more calls because I want to see what other people's takes are on this report and where the government's actually going with it. Because it shows the connection between the government and the media. If the media really could release anything they want, they would. And with this, I think the government has their foot in that, or some group has their foot in that. There's a tug of war that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
yeah, that's it.
I appreciate it, my man. You're spot on with a bunch of this, and as you know, we're going to keep our eye on this, and we're not letting up. We're going to keep punching. God willing, we'll be here tomorrow and the next day doing this too, because you can't let them. You give them an inch, they take a mile, and so like I always say, I hate being lied to, especially when you're using my own money to do it, that my tax money. Damn it, tell me the truth. Beachwoods, thank you so much for the call. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, have a great night.
All right, man. You too. Thanks.
Thanks. Appreciate it. There you go. A couple calls. See, it's as easy as that. I'm going to be nice to you. I'm not known for being a malicious guy that tries to yell at you and tell you you're wrong and hang up on you and laugh, cackle maniacally. No. We're going to be cool to each other. We're going to be chill. If you want to be part of the show, it's 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. The phone number's up there on the stream. You can also find it at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. So we're talking about this weirdness, right? This real weird stuff happening with Richard Dolan says this info was leaked to him today. Energy propulsion systems, ion propulsion, or energy pulse, ion propulsion, anti-gravity matter propulsion, anti-matter and gravity, ramjet hydrogen propulsion systems, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? That's what Richard Dolan is saying right now on a live stream. It's probably over because, it is what it is. But he was saying that this is the leaks, and Marco Rubio suggested if there's anything hot and spicy in that report, that there's not going to be a leak. And we were about to go to this phone call, but they hung up. So looking to hear from you. 702-957-1037. You want to be part of the show? And I don't know. I think it's interesting that so not only that, right? So here's the leaks again. If you guys didn't hear the Marco Rubio clip, I'm going to play that one more time. Now, if this is not what he's referring to, this Richard Dolan leak, is there something else coming, right? Is it just phony? And Marco Rubio is so I think this is the craziest part, right? So does Richard Dolan take a nod from Marco Rubio and go, oh, leaks? You know what I'm saying? Not to accuse him of being anything but honest here, but let's say somebody else. I don't want to say Richard Dolan because that's not fair, because I don't know who his source is and all the rest of that. But it's almost like it's like that predictive programming, right? Like last week, Marco Rubio says, hey, by the way, there's going to be some leaks about this if there's anything hot and spicy in it. And then sure enough, several days later, bam, leaks. What the heck is going on? Is Rubio trying to tell us something, or is this just more political BS theater that we're used to dealing with on a daily basis? This is what he said just before the report came out last week, and we have leaks right now.
This is June now. We're waiting for the hearing. Not the hearing. The results from the report from the UAP.
I think they keep telling us it should be out any day now. So, I think we'll have more information. But I think at the end, I don't think people should be expected. It's going to answer a lot. There's going to be a lot of questions even after. And I think the gist of the report is probably going to be something like, these are documented events. These are the ones we can explain. These are the ones that we can't. But for me, it's about treating it seriously. This could be a foreign adversary with an advanced capability, and we can't get surprised by that.
We're not going to see a lot of retracted stuff.
Well, they're classified. It's not because they're keeping it secret. Well, they are, but it's not because they're hiding it from people. It's because they don't want people to know how they collected on that information. Like releasing it might give away some technological advantage we have, or the way we collect intelligence. So that's why they classify things.
That's the only thing that scares the public, because we see that time and time again, man.
The way politics are now, I assure you, if they classify it something spicy in it, ain't no way that doesn't leak. You know what I mean?
Okay. Thank you so much, man.
Ain't no way that doesn't leak if there's something spicy in that classified report. And here we are, a mere few days later. That was Friday. Today's Tuesday. Let's see. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I can count to 4. 4 days later, we have this. Richard Dolan saying this is information that was leaked to him today with this energy pulse propulsion, ion propulsion, anti-gravity propulsion, antimatter propulsion, all kinds of crazy stuff that you would expect to hear in a sci-fi movie, not in a military. Not in the military. So I don't know. Like, this is, again, like it really makes me so Matt said in the chat, and he's right, some of this kind of harkens back to the Bob Lazar claims, right, that we were reverse engineering some of this the ET craft, right? Bob Lazar, of course, the first guy that came out and said Area 51 exists back in 1989. Actually, the story broke by George Knapp. Now, we have George Knapp still pressing 30 plus years later. And again, right, like, he's done a lot for ufology. I have a hard time really bashing on George Knapp just because of all the information we got from him. But, you know, like, he does the best he can. He's human and he has sources, and are they messing with him? It's impossible to say, right? So I don't know. I think that's part of this. If it harkens back to Bob Lazar in 1989 with the reverse engineering UFOs, and it's all a psyop. Think of it like a 30 or 40 year psyop now. Just spitballing here. I don't have answers. I'm not the answers guy. I'm the questions guy. So I'm asking the question. If this is like a long-term psyop and they set up that Bob Lazar story way back when, to maybe be able to do things like this now with DARPA and with some of this advanced propulsion technologies they say we do or we don't have. And then we have these UFOs buzzing all over the place, right? There's a lot going on here. If that's the level of poker that the government is playing against us, I don't think we stand a chance, because the mythology from all the way back from the Bob Lazar time of 1989 to now has been twisted and turned and dropped on its head and kicked out the door and brought back inside, rained on. It's just been absolutely just tore up, and, you know, kind of bunked and debunked and rebunked and then triple bunked, and then people believe it again. I don't know what to believe about any of that, but it does make me suspicious about what's happening today, though we have respected fighter pilots saying that they've seen these things. So yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what's going on, because if I did, I'd just tell you, but I don't. So instead, this is instead of the answer show, this is the question show, and we're talking about the UFO report, and that hit on Friday. But we're kind of not just talking about specifically the report itself. We just glazed over that to start the show, because we did a whole show on Friday about this. But today we're talking about it in terms of how the media is reacting. Chris Carter has kind of crapped on it, saying that it's going to beg more questions than it is going to give us answers. And I happen to agree. And so it just so happens that this is the Questions Show. You're listening to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. If you want to be part of this conversation tonight, we're taking your phone calls. Give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. 2 calls so far. Looking for 2 more. Come on, we can do it. We can do it. Phone number is right there, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get in here. Love to hear your take on this. More conversation about UFOs after the break. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show tonight, we are talking about this UFO report. 180-day UFO report hit on Friday. It's Tuesday. The press has had a weekend to digest and to be talking about this and considering all the things. And, well, we got some hot takes from all over the Twitter sphere and all over the mainstream media and everything else. But I care less about what those folks think, and I care more about what you think, because that's part of this larger conversation. Like I always say, the secret weapon of this show is you and your take on this stuff, and what do you expect? What exactly is this? And Why is it kind of consuming the media? I mean, this is a UFO show. We talk about this quite often. We follow the propaganda. We follow the news cycle. We follow the leaks, like Richard Dolan has just said tonight. We follow all this stuff, right? Lou Elizondo and ATIP and the whole bit. But so, it's kind of right in our wheelhouse. So it's not a stretch for us to be talking about this. That's what we do on this show. But what about the rest of the world? How does it affect, Fox News or CNN or, MSNBC or any of these other, knucklehead platforms out there? How does it affect them? What are they doing with this? And is it just more clickbait? Is it just more information to kind of throw out as part of a disinformation campaign? I think that's part of the question here, and part of why we get together and talk about this is because that whole wisdom of the crowd bit. Like I said in the beginning of the show, I said you can fool one of us, you can fool two of us, you can't fool all of us. And so when we get together and put our minds together, we can come up with amazing things and maybe find out a more actual truth, which is exactly what this is all about. So again, 702-957-1037 if you want to be part of the show. And we just had a phone call I was about to take, and it hung up at the last second, but that's okay. All right, so reading your chat anyway. So we got more. Let's get to this now. Notably, over the last several days. So not only do we have the UFO report that just happened, right? That happened Friday. We have some more news that happened just after that, and I don't know if this is somebody trying to capitalize on what that actually means or what's going on with that. But here we go. Check this out. This is from the Black Vault, and we talked about this. This is from a Reddit thread, and we talked about this from on our news show, which we do on Mondays and Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific. So if you want to catch us there, we do it on Twitch and just talk. It's just the news, just kind of an hour rundown of maybe the news that's maybe not the news. That's instead of the propaganda, we kind of look at it as just a news show that parses propaganda. So that's what we do, kind of in a shorter version with just quicker hit stories. But we talked about this on Monday or yesterday. So check this out. This happened over the last couple days here. And this is reported and picked up by the blackvault.com, which they are fantastic, by the way. John Greenwald Jr. I can't say enough about the guy, all his FOIA requests and all the great things he does to kind of get to the bottom of this. But there were just a couple days ago, black triangle UFO photos on Reddit. Okay, so not only so last week we did a show about the TR-3B, right? And so here we have the UFO report hit Friday, and right around the same time we have these photographs of it looks like a TR-3B, right? It looks like a triangle aircraft. It looks like a UFO. And so not only that, it appears that this actual triangle UFO is flying into or out of or both of the water, into the water or out of the water. Okay. And so I saw this, and it was almost as soon as this went up, it was debunked as a hoax. And that's how good people are getting with these things. If you try and use a stock photo and then try and Photoshop things on top of it, the internet is going to track down that stock photo that you used faster than you can say, what the hell just happened? So don't try it. But in any case, point being, let's see the background. This case comes from a social media network, Reddit, and this is from the blackvault.com. The article here. Numerous photographs of a black triangle splashing in the water were posted, then apparently quickly deleted. Savvy users in the thread Reddit/u/UFOs did download and save them to later repost them for analysis, right? And that's what happens. You try and hoax people, they're going to catch you. So the Black Vault has archived them below. There have been many within hours of these being posted who have submitted legitimate observations to point to these being a hoax. That analysis, with credit to all those who did, is also below for consideration. So I'm going to link this. If I did I link this? Yeah, I think I did. I'm going to make sure, just because when people do good work, it's important to actually credit them for this. And this is what went down. This just went down this couple days ago, and so trying to capitalize on this story, the 6-month UFO report, but it's fake. It's a stock photo of a whale jumping out of the water, and they photoshopped this triangle over the whale. All right, so we'll get to some more fake UFOs. And point being is that you have to be very careful when you look at this stuff, because you just never know, right? You just never know. There's always people trying to fake us out, always people trying to make us look like fools. And this is a fantastic way to look at this when you're kind of in the middle. You don't have to be a skeptic. You don't have to be a believer. You can take the evidence as it comes and decide on a case-by-case basis. But we do have a phone call here. Let's go to, looks like Jennifer in Colorado. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for the call. What is on your mind tonight?
Oh, there's some echo. Hang on. Are you hearing echo on your side?
I am not. Let me see if I can click a button, see if that helps.
No, it's probably on my end. I have really bad internet. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, basically, so
okay.
It's pretty hard to get decent internet, and I pretty much use my phone for the internet. But no, as far as what you're saying with how the media responding to the UAP report, I think it is really strange the way they're responding. I mean, if you look at everyone's responded. I mean, you have Scientific America, as far as like the mainstream medias, CNN, the San Francisco Chronicle, the New York Post. So, I mean, Fox, all the major news people are responding to it, just like we are. That's what's strange. Their response sounds very much like our own. Because, I mean, they're working with I think it was a 9-page report. I mean, we got a 4-page report, but there were some takeaways I thought were really interesting. And that, CNN was talking, they kind of broke it down into Cliff's Notes into 8 parts. And they discussed, about the different categories they were going to have. And they talked about who did the report. And, that the reports were coming from serious, credible sources, that they were coming from military or, I guess, reputable government officials. So they took very serious reports. These 144 reports were from very serious accounts. It was also, I mean, it's interesting because it was only done by like 2 people, I think. Wasn't it like 2 people who did the report?
2 people.
Working part-time or something.
Yep.
In like 180 days. And they had access to, all these different files going from 2004 to 2004 to 2017 or something.
Yeah.
And so I think they did the best that these 2 people, I suppose they did the best that they could with what they couldn't throw away as just being weather phenomenon or birds or, practice defense, aerial objects or whatever they're doing. But what's really strange, though, is that I noticed they said that, who said this? So I wrote a bunch of notes down because I wasn't even sure. I was like, I don't know how you could respond to this kind of question really good. But, that even, I think it was the head of the, Luis Elizondo or something, who was the head of a secret project in the Pentagon. This was mentioned by the San Francisco Chronicler or the New York Post, I can't remember. But that he said that if the American public had access to all of these files, that their mood would be very somber and that they might even seek out religious belief for solace about it. So he kind of insinuated. And then I think I can't remember who else said, that we can't rule out ETs as the source of these UFOs. So they have these very strange responses. And they almost seem like they're necessarily blaming the government per se. They're saying that the government needs to become more scientifically advanced because they can't understand how these things are hovering in the air and changing direction. And so I think it's really odd the way the media is responding. They seem like, well, maybe I'm sure they probably already knew. I mean, if you want to believe that they're all in on it together, which I kind of do. But it is very strange that they're kind of egging the American public on to be more interested, to want more questions. And it's very disappointing that the American people are not even taking heed that the Pentagon and that former deputies of defense for, the intelligence department are telling people that these things are actually unexplained. And by unexplained, they defy the laws of what their science understands right now. So they're literally admitting, and, the media is saying it as well, that our government and our science cannot explain what these 143, incidences out of the 144, what they are, because they move against the wind, They seem to have no propulsion. So I think it's very strange that they are taking it just as seriously. I don't know if they're pretending or what, because we tend to think that because I don't like mainstream media either, but they're saying kind of exactly what we're saying. And then they also seem to be like, if we could just figure out, if we could become more scientific, maybe we need to focus on this. But then across the board, it seems that Republicans and Democrats, Adam Schiff commented on this, and a couple of other politicians commented on it, that, what we can agree on is that Republicans and Democrats, want more information and think that we should be doing more. But the Pentagon is basically like sounding an alarm. They've had, and so is the, former Deputy of Defense of the National Security and so on, that this is really strange. And, if the American people did have access to these classified files, they might have a very somber mood. It could be, so he's insinuating, and then someone else even, like I said, that if people, that we can't rule out that ETs are behind it. And ETs, I think that's very important, extraterrestrial. I always thought that was really important because extraterrestrial would insinuate, a species not from space necessarily. So there's also that possibility. People hear ET and they think from space, but it actually, it doesn't matter, my opinion. But yeah, I think the media's response is a little bit more thorough than I expected. At first, when you were talking about it, I was like, well, they're not saying enough, but they can't really have a lot to work with, just like we don't have a lot to work with. But I think that giving 180 days to two people to, scourge over reports from these military and government people, I think it wasn't enough time. And I think that they did do a decent enough job, even though it was horrible that we were like, because we wanted so much more, like everybody, I guess, in the country and around the world. And all they could give us was, it's too advanced for us. We can't explain it. And so what we're going to say is that if we become more advanced and keep studying it and throw money at it, we will do more studying. And then they actually kind of seem amused that the American people are just kind of like, after about 2 days or so, the American people are just kind of done with it. It's like, well, I got stuff to do. So
yeah,
people
exactly.
just have stuff to do.
I'm busy.
We don't
here.
have the means.
I have
we
to
don't
pay
have
my
the
tax
means
bill.
to study this stuff. I'm sorry, what?
I'm busy here. I have to pay my tax bill. You know what I mean? I don't have time for UFOs.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Let me ask you this. Actually, I'm going to make a statement on all that stuff you just said. The only thing that frightens me more than an alien invasion is a bipartisan bill in Washington. That's the only thing that scares me more, because that means something is amiss. And so you make a very good point here that the mainstream media has jumped all over this. Now, is it clickbait value or is it something else? Are they trying to get us to do or act a particular way? And that's the thing that makes me suspicious, especially when, like you said, Adam Schiff, we got everybody who's anybody has commented on this. Let's go one from both sides of the aisle, Adam Schiff and Marco Rubio.
Really odd.
Yeah, it's odd. It is, right?
Oh, one thing that was mentioned too was that they don't think that they got all the reports they could have got because it's been so stigmatized. So military men and government people may not be coming forth with all that they know because there's a stigma around UFOs. If people come out and say it, like immediately, if you're like, oh, I'm studying on UFOs, they look at you like you're just silly, So you believe in UFOs now. It's a typical type of response, even though it's like, yeah, without a doubt, like even the military and like the Pentagon and the secretaries of defense and all these, people who we consider very important are telling us that there are UFOs. Now, I guess, a question it's been bothering me lately is if extraterrestrials, these people or these things behind the UFO phenomenon, if they were to come out to the world, or if they already have, of course, a lot of us think that, but would the world rulers, because they are so scientifically advanced, would they turn over, control of the world to these more advanced, because they teach, with evolution and everything, that we're not as evolved because we can't do this kind of stuff, so they must be more evolved, that kind of thinking. I wonder what they would do in that kind of circumstance, if they would be like, well, you guys just take care of this because it's too much for us, or something. Even though they're causing all the problems in the world.
Right, exactly.
Or
exactly.
a lot of them.
That would be.
So it's really bizarre.
Yeah, it is weird. Like those.
And I honestly can't believe.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
I cannot believe the media is actually as interested as they are. I actually kind of thought that they wouldn't really cover it because then, it might be kind of awkward or something because there's kind of the silliness about it. But in fact, Scientific America, National Geographic, basically everyone that's serious, NPR, basically all the serious media has been like, I wonder what's going on, just like we're doing. And it's really strange. I think it's really weird.
Like I said on Friday when I did the show about this, the report, I was very more interested to find out how the press reacted. So I had one of two options in my mind, and they were both polarized. One was they would just ignore it, sweep it under the carpet, forget like it ever happened, pretend that it just make it go away.
That's what I thought, yeah.
But they did the opposite. Everybody's got a comment. Everybody's jumping on it, and this is now the talk of the town this week. So let's see how long it lasts, what comes out of it. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on this, as you know. That's what we do on this show. I hate to let you go, Jennifer. You're always fantastic. I got a caller behind you, but
I'll see you later.
Thank you so much for the call. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. That's Jennifer, and great calls as always. Like Night Stalker said in the chat, that all the best callers take notes. All the best callers take notes. And there you go. That's Jennifer. Always a fantastic call. Let's go to Benjamin in Virginia. What's up, my friend? It's been a long time. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on, Mike?
Talking UFOs, man. You know how we do this. What do you think about this whole UFO report?
I think it's ass. Excuse my language. I'm not trying to mean no disrespect to anybody who was expecting this report, but think about it this way. Something that's been deemed classified for this many years. Okay, now this phenomenon has been going on for years. And people, and I know there's other people in chat, like myself, who's experienced it, who's been there, lived it, trying to keep their heads low. Imagine what would you can only imagine how people would react if full disclosure came out. The only way that anybody would know the truth is if the aliens just parked on our freaking lawns and said, "Hi, how you doing? Don't mind us. We're just passing through." It was bullshit from the word go.
Whoa, no cursing. We're on the radio. Benjamin, no cursing. We're on the radio. Go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
But I mean, it's crap. I mean, even when I first started hearing about it, where they was talking about this report thing that was going to come out, I knew that it was going to be a bunch of orange and apples. I mean, come on, man,
nice
common
catch.
sense.
Nice catch.
But to every lie the government tells us, there's some truth behind it. Now think about it. Tesla's designs were stolen from him when he died. Who's to say, and I even posted this in chat, who's to say that we do have alien technology, but we didn't know how to back engineer it, and now that we have Tesla's designs, we incorporated his designs with alien technology to back engineer these crafts. Who's to say that's not half of what's flying around up in the skies? Nobody really knows. So in my personal opinion about it is, I don't think the truth will ever come out until the aliens actually park on everybody's lawns, until there's one that's parked on the White House lawn.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I mean, that's my theory about it.
I kind of agree. It seems like not just that though, that we now we have the press kind of feeding us these narratives, and then trying to parse it and talk about it and think about it like we do, just like Jennifer was saying there. It makes me suspicious, right? Like, what's the next step? I don't know if we're expected to believe now suddenly this is a real thing. The ETs are real. I mean, they're not saying it, but they're insinuating heavily that this is the case, right? And so I think that's the thing that makes me a little suspicious. All right.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Hold on one second.
Here's my thing on that, Mike.
One sec, Benjamin. 1 sec. We got 2 minutes, so you got to make it brief, okay, before we got to end the show.
Okay.
So 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. With the government, we all know how the government lies. We all know about MSN. When the government came out and posted those documents, the MSN push their agenda. There you go. That's all that needs to be said right there.
Right.
But that's all I wanted to. That's all I wanted to call into the show about. It was orange and apples, dude. Orange and apples.
Okay.
Keep up the good fight. I'm gonna jump back in the stream, Mike.
I appreciate it, my friend. That's Benjamin from Virginia. Thank you for the call. Thank you for listening. And that's exactly it. I think that, like I said, and I stand by this. The only thing that scares me more than an alien invasion is a bipartisan bill in Washington, because it means, right, they agree they're going to take something from us. And so now we have the opposite happening with the media kind of leading the push here, and we're supposed to believe in aliens now. We're supposed to believe in whatever it is they're telling us to believe in. And so, again, right, like, fine, call me a skeptical, call me a jerk, call me an a-hole, call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. But I'm telling you, right now, I'm not going to buy this until, just like Benjamin said, till I get a UFO land on my lawn. Little green man, get out and say, hello, Michael Strange. And I'm telling you why. Not because I don't believe that this thing is a real phenomenon. I think it is, very much so. But I'm saying it because the information we get is going to come from the government, and that is not where we should get disclosure from. Like everybody thinks and has always thought that that's it. When the government says they're here, they're here. I don't think so. So in any case, thank you guys for the great calls tonight. Thanks for jumping in and saving me here at the last bit. We're out of time. Actually, we have another phone call. Let's see. We have enough time to take this. I'm gonna go to this phone call. We have about 1 minute. 1 minute.
Hey.
You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. We got like a minute left. What's your first name? And go right ahead.
Hey, Mike, it's John.
What's up,
I was just
brother?
calling in about that triangle UFO, and I have seen one personally, and I was going to ask you if that's what you had seen out there in Nevada.
No, I've never seen a triangle UFO. I've seen orbs, and I've seen one very fast, like a dot way out in the sky, just moving like incredibly fast across the horizon. I've never seen a triangle, no.
Okay. Because I live down in Georgia, and I live by Valdosta, so I think that's close to Jones Air Force Base, whatever it is.
Okay.
But I work at night, and I was outside, and I saw this triangle thing cruising around, and I was like, oh, shit. I was like, there's a UFO, but it came so close to me that, like, I could tell it was military. Like, I could tell just the way it was moving, the way it looked. Like, that's how close it was. Like, I could definitely tell it was military.
Gotcha, yeah. And so that's the thing. That's what they're saying. The Richard Dolan leak suggests these are ours. So I appreciate the call, my man. We got to go. You were the best. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening.
Later.
Thanks, John. All right, there you go. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, and we talk about all the weird stuff, right? We talk about aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, and propaganda, right? I think probably that's the better thing to be an expert in is propaganda than any of the rest of this stuff, because you can parse what's going on from the media and from the government. And that's how we take this these angles, this UFOs and the aliens and everything else. Are they telling us a bunch of BS, or is there something more to it? In any case, thank you for listening, guys. If you're listening on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. If you're listening to us on Facebook, DLive, YouTube, or the podcast feed, stay tuned for one more hour of Troubled Minds. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. So the deal is this, guys. We're off the radio now, so we can let our hair down, unbuckle the belt, and continue talking UFOs. No need to drop the cursing. The first F-bomb is yours, or maybe it'll be mine. We'll see. But we're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and we're going to allow you some time to hit the restroom, top off your drink, tuck the kids in bed, do what you got to do. We're going to take a 2-minute break. This is Troubled Minds on Michael Strange, and we are still taking your phone calls. So if you want to be part of the show, the phone number is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. troubledminds.org. Join the Discord. Phone number is right there on the website. 2-minute break. Don't go anywhere. One more hour of Troubled Minds coming up. Looking to hear from you. What is your take on this UFO report and the way the media is reacting? Don't go anywhere. Be right back. All right, good enough. Is that 2 minutes? Something like that. Let's kill it. Let's kill the music and let's get back to this. No, and what's up, NS? That is not my picture looking at you from the bunker. That is me. I told you I stream in a bunker. There's the bunker. I've got proof. I have proof. It's right here all around me. Yep. You guys didn't believe me? I have proof. All right. We're going to go to a phone call. This is Troubled Minds on Michael Strange. We're still talking about all the things, right? All the UFOs and the UFO report on Friday, what the media is saying about it. I don't care about that. I care less about that. I care more about what you guys have to say about this. So if you want to be part of the show, there is the phone number. There's me in the bunker, 702-957-1037. Give us a call. Troubledminds.org has the official website and has the phone number. Let's go to Paul in New Hampshire. What's up, Paul? How are you, my friend? Welcome to the show.
Good. How you doing, Michael Strange? What's going on?
I'm doing very well. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good tonight. I've been listening to you all night, kind of, on the fence about all this stuff right now. But I think a really good thing I want to talk about what you brought up with mass media and, okay, this report that's come out. Yeah, we all knew this was coming. I think people like you and I mean, that have studied this for a while, or, I've been studying it for so long, it was kind of expected for me what was going to happen. And I think what I saw in this, which really it really set the record straight, just kind of proved to me that, why this is so difficult to get this stuff out there, is what happened on Tucker Carlson recently. I think it was Friday night after this thing came out. Lou Elizondo had showed up on there, and I think, Lou Elizondo lately has been labeled as the biggest guy in ufology by mass media, basically. Not by people that studied it, not by people but mass media. So I think you called it, if you want to call it clickbait or a reason, okay, now they're going to use this and they're putting it on the news now, but we still haven't gotten any real answers. And this is what I saw the other night that really resonated with me and kind of proves what I've been saying all along, that this is just another go-around that's happened. It's been a cycle that's been happening every 10 or 15 years for the last 50 to 70 years. And Tucker, said, basically, flat out said, and I thought this was awesome at first, when you started watching the segment that they did, he had said, so, let me get to the point, Mr. Elizondo. Thank you for having you on. But, okay, so now we have this thing, and we know they're probably not China. They're probably not Russia. They're doing things we can't do. This is advanced technology. So that pretty much leaves one thing. And he finally said the first time that, so this is more than likely extraterrestrial, right? And after he's been pumping him for so long, he's been on the show several times. He's been not only on there, he's been on every network, as you know, CBS, CNN. He's gone on all these shows and said the same thing. This isn't me saying this. This is the government saying this. This is a guy that leaked some stuff. We have pilots now, like David Fravor and the Nimitz encounter. And if you look at the evidence, and this is just recent stuff. Let's go back 30 years, so maybe I won't go there. But, and then Elizondo goes, well, I can't really say that. And they did the same thing and twisted around that they've always been doing. And he said, well, it might be a natural phenomenon and it might be an underwater thing. And, we really don't have this. So right here you have the whistleblower, this guy that's supposed to be the king of UFOs now, that's come forward, that worked for the CIA for what, how many years? And goes right back to the same rhetoric of, we finally get a real reporter. Whether he's real or not, I know it's Tucker Carlson, but you got to look at the facts here. I'd rather watch him than Don Lemon or Kumo, on CNN.
I call it all
and put on Hannity, you know what I'm saying, man. And here you go. Here goes Alessandro. Well, it's natural, and we don't know what it is. And instead of saying, yeah, okay, man, it is extraterrestrial, when they know what it is. These people have known for years what it is, and they think there's plenty of evidence. Physical, too. I think we got into that in one of your earlier shows about the ancient alien theory, and didn't really get to some of that physical evidence I think to anybody's going to prove at least, if anything, that there was advanced technology on this planet for thousands of years. And now here we go. Right back in the same old circle. And now more leaks and whistleblowers and what's real and what's not, and fake pictures going up, and videos of night vision, and videos that look like, okay, it's blinking lights in the sky. When is it going to end? I don't think in our lifetime. I just don't see it happening. I've been saying that all along, and I for the last week, maybe I'm wrong. But I think they kind of proved us right with this whole smoke show that they've done. And that's what it is.
I think
that's how I feel.
It's unfortunate that here we are again. Like like you said, somebody has the nuts to finally ask the question. It's like, look, is this aliens or not? Like, just give us the straight dope. Quit yanking our chain. Like, what's going on with this? Right? I can't really say. Well, what the hell are you doing here, man?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, can we swear now, by the way? Can I say this? Oh, if I tell you the truth, they're going to cut my nuts off. Well, guess what? His nuts already got cut off, because then we hear him on live TV lying through his teeth. And it's just what it is. And if you can't tell those guys now, they're just lying, and it's just to get your attention away from the real problems at hand. Now we need more problems. Now we have to worry about China and Russia. And I think I mentioned that with, the advanced technology. When I got off path with the TR-3B, let's face it, if they have this technology, and if aliens have contacted us and they're made a deal or whatever, perhaps they did back in the day, the truth is if we have this technology, it's going to be militarized. We know this. This is what they do. If you look back at what Stan Freeman talked about with the Roswell incident, Philip Corso, the general that came forward, that was part of that, and wrote a book about it and said, hey, we got night vision, we got fiber optics, we have, anti-gravity or whatever, your lasers. What did they do with it first? And that was advanced technology that was used for the military. And if you talk to anybody that knows anything about the military and is going to be a whistleblower, they'll say they're so far advanced, you don't even know how advanced they are. And it would be weaponized, and I think that's all part of the big, huge problem here of why this will never come out. And that's because as human beings, we're not ready for it. We're not ready to get along. We're not ready to hold hands and have free free energy and, cures instead of treatment. This would blow the earth upside down. Every big pharma company would shut down. We wouldn't be able to, we'd be able to power our house with a battery, okay? And it would power your house for the rest of your life. But on the flip side, somebody gets a hold of that little battery that can power your house for the rest of your life. Figure out what they can do to weaponize that, and perhaps destroy a city. It's just what it is, and we're not ready. And mass media is never, ever in our lifetime going to tell this. So unless the aliens come down to land, which, again, if they're millions of years more advanced, and it seems to be, the evidence is there to show that they've been here all along, why would they do that and come down and say, hey, here you go, monkeys. One day we're eating bananas, next day we're building pyramids, next day we're blowing each other up.
Or hopefully flying UFOs instead. Hopefully that's in our future. The flying cars, flying cars are
coming around, Yeah. Anti-gravity. Hey, man, I never told you this. I have somebody contact me once through my YouTube channel, and they go, we built anti-gravity technology. And I was like, really? I'm getting email after email and then messages and join me on this group. And then they're showing me videos that they made on YouTube. And I was like, You people are flipping nuts, okay? There's nothing here that you have, and it's just what it was. And they were, I don't know why, they go outside on this night, climb a mountain, and look up to the sky and the northwest side, and we're going to fly this anti-gravity technology. But I don't want you to know who I am. I want you to take this video. And then I look, there's a satellite going over that night. You can probably find it, or maybe it was a space station or whatever. But, I mean, it was just, really, if you have this technology, why are you calling me with 8 videos on YouTube? Why aren't you calling,
the White House?
Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Or Putin, call Putin.
Yeah.
Make a deal with him. He'll buy it from you.
Yeah, start
I have something that's going to change the face of humanity, but I'm going to call Paul Spear in New Hampshire. Okay, cool. Sounds good.
It doesn't make sense, does it? Yeah, there's like I said, there's a lot of plot holes here. I think that's partially what the issue is, and why we're suspicious, why we have this conversation. Because again, I am not that guy where I don't think that the alien thing is a complete hoax. I don't think that's the case at all. I think there's something to it for sure. However, I think that a lot of the information, like a huge percentage of it that we see, is either hoaxes or government disinformation, period. And so when you cascade an entire bunch of lies on top of like a couple nuggets of truth, it becomes impossible to find anything. And that's why we have this conversation. So that's what we're doing. I appreciate you to call tonight, Paul. Everybody follow New Hampshire UFO Hunter on YouTube. Thanks for calling in, my friend. Thanks for your hot takes on this. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great night, okay?
Thanks a lot, Mike. Good to talk to you.
Thanks, bro. You too. Thanks, bro. There you go. As simple as that. If you guys want to be part of the show, it's as simple as that. Phone number right there down below the bunkers, 702-957-1037 at troubledminds.org. You could also join the Discord. And what do you think about this? We're in that weird situation where the media seems interested, the government seems interested, and I got to admit, Jennifer was right. I'm a little miffed. They're moving in on my territory. What the hell's going on here? No, I'm just kidding. There's plenty conversations to share. But point being, right? Like when you see an entire establishment pivot towards something and everybody's got something to say about it, that should make you suspicious. At least it makes me suspicious. So there we go. What's up? Jack's got a good point. He says so much UFO, CGI, and drones. And that's kind of what we're looking at. That's kind of what we're talking about and what we do here. So what's up, Kelly? You're on Troubled Minds. I see you there on the Discord. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Trying not to get too worked up, keep my blood pressure down. What's on your mind tonight?
I hear you about that one.
Yeah, so what do you think? What do you think is up with this? So the media is interested, the government's interested. Should we be suspicious of this? And what do you think about those leaks apparently by Richard Dolan? Like, what the hell is that? What in the world is going on?
I haven't taken a look at the Richard Dolan one. I'm still gonna take that link that you posted and check that out. But from what you were reading was kind of pretty interesting to me. Number one is what was it? Was it Ramjet?
Ramjet. I got it right here. Ramjet hydrogen propulsion system.
Yeah, what's crazy, but the Ramjet is just it's a type of engine, right? Because on the EA-6B Prowlers, those are the older aircrafts that we used to use. I don't know other aircraft, older aircraft use that type of technology, but it's called Ramjet. And the reason why they were using on the EA-6B, because they carry a lot of electronics, so they have to get off the deck. And so those things are loud and powerful. Out of all the aircraft carrier, all the aircraft that we were, launching on the air, like F-18s and the EA-6B Prowler, man, those things are loud as shit. So they have but the reason for that is they have a lot of thrust. But if they're using what was the propulsion again? The fuel?
Yeah, energy pulse propulsion, ion propulsion, anti-gravity, antimatter, ramjet hydrogen propulsion, and compressed nuclear propulsion. That's from the list.
It's interesting that they're going to be using hydrogen, because I don't know. That kind of tells me by listening to some of those, like they're saying that those aircraft are ours, and I believe some of those things that they are. And the reason why I say that, because if you look at all the the evidence that's been like with all the photographs and all the video that's over the decades, since we started having video camcorders and shit. But I would say, for me, I would say the ones that you can see like with your eyes, not we're talking at night, where they would fly these things, but it's like during the daytime, and you can see those things, the whole shape of them. It's not lit up, like some of these aircraft, or like the Tic Tac so-called one that looks like plasma around it, or they say some of those technology, some of the research, people that have been down those rabbit holes, but you hear some of that energy that is used in it. It like kind of lights up the whole aircraft, like into, it looks like plasma, or looks like look like people would say an energy ball or something.
Yeah, well, so okay, like there's a lot here. So I think the problem with all of this becomes how much of this is ours, right? Like how much of this, like it's been rumored, the TR-3B, right, that we have, Bob Lazar, the advanced engineering or reverse engineering, right? So how much of what you're saying there and what's on Dolan's list could actually be like anti-gravity UFOs? And do you think we're there? Do you think we're actually flying these things around that we built, either by reverse engineering or with this type of breakthrough stuff that they're talking about? I mean, because that's really the conversation. Because if a lot of these are ours, that explains almost everything, doesn't it? Almost everything. That kind of puts all the pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as being, I spent time in the military, quite a few years. But the thing about it is, when I listen to these, some of this stuff, right, and I kind of looking at, I want to see which ones, it's hard to tell you which one's alien and which one's man-made. But as through video evidence and all the stuff that we have, and all the stories of these other people that that say they've come in contact with these creatures, and or been on these aircraft with these people, with these other these other beings. I don't know. I say it's all theirs, but it's just reverse engineered technology that we've finally accomplished, I would say. But what aircraft? I mean, we still, if it's a TR-3B, you're still looking at more like a winged, kind of like what I was talking on another show was like the Aurora project, right? It's like a black triangle, kind of like the B-2 bomber. So for me, that it's almost like they're still trying to have that type of, that shape of an aircraft to be ours. Now, but like if you're anti-gravity, like I've said this before, it doesn't matter then. It doesn't matter what shape it is, really, because you're anti-gravity. But if you're traveling through the air and you want to have more smoother shape, you would have something like, they would say that like the Tic Tac or some, but even those, I don't even think those are ours. I mean, per se, like I would, some of the stuff you were talking about, like, how, and they've talked about it. They have that way to, like a plasma, where it's like a plasma burst, kind of like, mess with people's radar systems. But you see those things that are flying in out of Mexico, in that volcano, they're all shaped like that. They're all, like the I've heard they were Andromeda shapes, ships, right? The ones that look like a cigar shape. You see, those have been photographed everywhere. I've even posted a few times, even today, where of a new one, is that compilation of UFOs. The ones that are like the first three of them, they're all like the elongated shape. It's crazy. But again, if you have, you would think that we think more human wise. That what shape would you have? But you also have like what the Germans had, the Higginboo, like the ones that are kind of shaped like the saucer shape or something like that. Or like, those are the ones I would say like were man-made. Those ones that were like in the 50s, early 40s. Well, maybe like I would say 50s, 60s that were photographed. They had that kind of shaped like that, those were probably anti-gravity. Germans were using that, were trying that stuff for, way before us or anybody out there probably. They got some, I would say, like I said too, they got some technology somewhere, probably from India, Vimanas, you hear all those. But for the government, I have a rebuttal for them. Like, they're saying that they don't know and they don't think that it's, aliens or whatnot. I would beg to differ. I mean, actually, Robert Bigelow, the man who's worked with them for I don't know how many years, decades, I would suppose, he even came out on TV and during, an interview and saying, yeah, he knows. He's the most one to spend money on this stuff. And yeah, he said that these things walking around us. So, I mean,
yeah, that's a good point. Go ahead.
Yeah,
you're onto something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying they're contradicting themselves, all the time, So, and the things too, like anti-gravity in 1950s, that's, we've talked about that too, there's all kinds of, I brought out all kinds of scientists that, they've been doing that and trying for anti-gravity. That's the most free energy that we're going to have. But, as for like landings and stuff like that, people say, for landings, there's a couple of examples of landings. There was that whole school of children over in South Africa. I mean, they even drew pictures. There was probably like 20, 30 of them. But the whole school seen it. And they even seen the creature that came out of the goddamn thing.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so you got a bunch of fantastic points here, and so it just depends on basically like the certain slice of faction that you ask, right? So if you ask like the Corbell George Knapp faction, they're going to tell you, yeah, they're probably ET, right? They're going to imply heavily. They'll probably come short of saying it outright. If you ask Bigelow, right? Bigelow has straight up said in interviews, hey, by the way, we've got actual craft, like metamaterials from crash retrievals. We've got these things, and to my knowledge, I am satisfied that this is the accuracy of the reports, right? Like, it just, again, like, it depends on who you ask. And then you go to Lou Elizondo, and he won't even he tiptoes right up to it and says, nah, I can't say aliens. He can't even imply aliens. But it's like, come on, like, what the hell is going on? It just depends on who you ask. You ask us, and you ask me, and I'm suspicious, right? Because, of course, there's a lot here that, just like you said, they contradict the hell out of themselves. And what are we supposed to do? Like, which faction of those folks do you believe, right? And there's more. There's more on top of that. There's the Galactic Federation, right? I mean, and then we have compelling stories like the landing at the kids at the school in Africa. I mean, and those they're all 30 plus now, and they actually got them together recently and interviewed them, and they all stand by their story. That they saw the aliens get out of the craft and approach them at that school, right? I mean, it's nuts. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, and it just keeps going on. Like, I've put pictures on there too. There was pictures of, looks like a literal landing. It's kind of shaped, like the tic-tac shape. It's all lit up too. It was over in Otasko, Russia in 1995. Also a similar one, it was over in Canada. I'll repost them on Discord, but it was like the same shape, same lit up body, and that was in 21, and then you have the Randlesham Forest. You can just keep going on and on. There has been landings. To people need to do their, I don't know how much research these people have done, or that are like just, because we call them normies that doesn't, they're getting into it now, but at the same time, this has been happening. It's been going on. These landings have happened. Aliens walk out. People talk about them. They, or even people, that have contactees and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's enough compelling cases. Again, if there were no compelling cases, if I thought it was all phony, we wouldn't be doing this show at all. We wouldn't be talking. I'd be like, whatever, this is dumb. But it's not dumb. It depends on who you ask, right? Like, some people are all in and they're saying, no, the aliens are here and they run this shit. And other people are like, like Lou Elizondo. Again, more contradictions, right? Like I said, they cherry picked a particular block of times coming out of it. Again, it was only 2 people, and I made the. It's hilarious that the UAP task force is 2 people, kind of like wink, wink, Mulder and Scully, right? It's almost like they're making fun of us. It's like, what the hell? But then, so they cherry picked this particular group of data. The only things we get from the government are these tic tac shaped things, which fine, legitimate, like you said, cigar shapes going back to Blue Book, and before that, fine. But what about all the rest? There's saucers, there's orbs, there's triangles, there's all kinds of shit they're talking about that people have seen. People get videos of this stuff. Again, go to the MUFON archives. I've got some compelling stuff straight from them. Like, it's so absurd that it seems like just in this topic, there's like 10 different realities, right? Just in this one topic, it's insane. And I can't help but think it's on purpose, that I think they don't want us knowing which of those slices is correct, right? It just seems like that's the only way, that's the only reason why we'd have so many different explanations for the same damn thing. Just one man's opinion.
Yeah. Another conclusion on some of this stuff would be, for me too, is when they say, they don't, and their wording of like their, that was released on Friday was, aerial clutter, or, just some of the other wordings, saying that it could be, other, someone else. But what that, to me, kind of almost sounds like they're interested in who has this type of anti-gravity technology and is not sharing it. You know what I mean? It could be a company that has, like a man that's like, to say, a billionaire, and has, undercover, you know what I mean, that's got their own scientists. And that's what I would do personally. If I ever had money, I would create my own, my own scientist lab and have these guys just go to work. But because the reason why I say that is because you have other stuff that flies around in the sky that, people say that they look like a guy in a jetpack, from these, airline pilots are saying, yeah, these things just flew right by me. It looked like a guy in a jetpack. But they never caught this guy. They never found out who he was or what, Yes, there's these type of things out there, or, the ones that look like the military you're using now. They go from one of those rib boats, which is, that they use to chase down these drug boats, right? And they're taking off on these, it looks like a jetpack, like Iron Man's taking off on, and landing
exactly
on deck.
Yeah.
Right? So who knows what type of technology that, someone else might have that, that are just playing with the military. And that's dangerous if they're doing that too. Because who knows if that's, if they are and they lose control of something like that and they run into an F-18 or, an F-16 or, that's kind of, to be doing that stuff. And that's why I say, if more or less that type of stuff that's messing around next to these jets, that has to be military. Has to be.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Well, I can't say that either, because you had the Foo Fighters that, we had never say that, but I'm talking now that, they're photographing, they're those ones that they're kind of pushing into the mainframe, maybe that's what they're using the mainstream media about, like, oh, look at these ones, forget about the other shaped ones, look at these ones,
Well, that's what I mean. That's what's suspicious to me, is there's so many different kinds and shapes. I've seen orbs, right? So how come, the Tic Tac is not an orb? What's up with those things? Tons of people see orbs all the time. There's compelling footage of orbs in the sky. Like this is the type of stuff. Like it seems very much like they're trying to control tightly the conversation about exactly what kind of UFO we're talking about. And that's the suspicious part to me. Yeah, that's the thing, right? I say this and the UFO Twitter goes nuts, right? People give me the thumbs down on the YouTube. They're like, oh, this guy's such a hater. No, I'm just not easily fooled. Come on now. Like, ask some questions, for crying out loud. Which of these are ours? Which of these aren't? Let's start there, right? I mean, there's a huge conversation to be had about this. So, anyway. So all that other stuff. Have you ever heard of anti-gravity propulsion? Or I'm sorry, what is it? Antimatter propulsion. Have you heard of that in any capacity propulsion? Whatsoever? Yeah, antimatter propulsion.
Antimatter. Oh man, I've ran across that, but in some readings, but like not as being worked in any kind of like space more everything now is like ion cannon or ion engine stuff, because that's what China is actually, they're talking about. That's what they're going to use their stuff to get to Mars, because the whole race to get to these different planets around here. But yeah, ion, but not antimatter. Antimatter would be more like, fuck, who do they? I think maybe I hear something like that, like where they slam atoms together down on that over in
CERN.
How was that? Yeah, CERN. Maybe with CERN, but nothing for like propulsion systems or anything like that. Because if you're using antimatter, any kind of matter like that, it'd be, man, that's a lot of. I don't even know where to even go to start with that, because try to use that as an energy source. Fuck, to even contain that would be amazing in itself.
Exactly. So the way I understand it, and this could be from comic books, so correct me if I'm wrong, is that antimatter, when it actually makes contact with matter, it disintegrates and in a huge explosion sort of thing, and they can't get, even if we can get it, we can't get it to stay in a stable state. So it comes and it makes like a pop and it goes, right? That's how I understand it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I've never heard of a propulsion from antimatter. And if this is what DARPA's working on right now, according to this leak to Richard Dolan, then we don't even live in the same world anymore, do we? I mean, that shit is like exotic as hell.
You know what that sounds like? Is that one guy that called in that one time? He's real knowledgeable on that. And remember, he was saying that they was using some kind of a metal, and the reason why they had to keep it contained in a vacuum, because once it comes in contact with air, it explodes like an explosion. It's almost like, you know what I mean? And so for me, that's why the question I asked him when he was on here, like I think last week, is that would, to me, if you need a vacuum, that's space, right? So all you have to do is add some kind of air, like they push, I guess satellites into positions. It's not even really, they're not firing any engine. It's more like an air, kind of like pushing it into. Now, if you have that and it's igniting, that's like almost an ion cannon or an ion engine for me, because it's like almost turning metal into liquid and having an explosion. It just, yeah, I wish that guy would, come on and have that conversation with you.
Yeah, his name is Richard. He's got an open invite to the show. He's like you said, he's going to do some extra research. He said he worked with Tesla's protege. So he's apparently has some knowledge regarding the Tesla technology that is supposedly vanished or stolen by the government. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. But I don't know, like I'm not an expert in that, but it does seem that there are people that seem to have knowledge, right? Knowledge of this. I don't know. Weird, man. It is weird, though, the world we live in, right? All the different slices of realities we have to believe just to talk about UFOs. It's like, did Eisenhower meet with aliens? It's unbelievable. Just look at our catalog of shows. It's all over the damn place. Sometimes, I get people in the chat, they're like, these people are insane. And then they listen to the show and they're like, oh, I guess they're not really saying all this. They're asking why. They're asking why. You know what I mean? No, we're not insane. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, man. No, like all this stuff, though, to me, because I like the old ancient history, and to me, this is like nothing new under the sun, man. Because if you go back to again, there's a different culture that talk about their flying gods, In South America, it was Kukulkan, and over in Sumeria, it was Anunnaki, and then you have over in India, it was, the flying Vimanas, and but all the stories are the same, and these technologies, they're not new. I mean, they've been around thousands of years. It's just to us, because we didn't know or even have the technology, or even the heavy metals that's used, like 115, what's his name was saying? Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar, yeah, 115. Yep.
I mean, that's compelling to me that these things they've been obviously, to me, they've got these things working pretty well now.
You know what's interesting?
Space Force,
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there. So, you know what's interesting about that element 115? I hadn't heard this until semi-recently, but there's a guy named Jeremy Ries, I think. He goes by the moniker Alien Scientist. And he was saying that in the the early 90s, Russia spent over $1 billion trying to create element 115, and they actually invented it when it became a thing. It's called Moscovium, I believe. If it's not that, it's got a Russian name for sure. But the thing is that they spent an ass ton of money to try and recreate this, and so it kind of stands to reason that these type of games are played between governments, because if they can make like Russia chase their tail for something that doesn't exist and spend a crap load of money, and when they finally get it, guess what? It's not UFO fuel. They just made a fool out of them, right? So I don't know. Like I'm saying, there are levels to this that go way deeper than just regular people could understand, because these are the types of games that governments play with each other with propaganda. Definitely, for sure. I don't know how true all that is exactly, but that's what that guy said. So I don't know. Man. I don't know what to think about all this other than there are more questions, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
You're good. Go ahead.
actually, probably about what was it? Probably about, I think maybe 10 years ago, I would say, give or take, right around there. There was Russia came out and said that they had element 118.
Yeah. Oh,
even
yeah.
ahead. Yeah. So I mean, they've been. I don't think it's. I think that's probably what's used. You know. I mean, Bob Lazar came out and said, and people didn't even know what the hell that shit was. It was even on the periodical table. You know. So that's why they thought that he was lying. But and we can make it, but it's in so minute amounts that it was. It's really once it like hits. Once it's made, it like just dissolves. But I don't know, man. See, and that's just what I want is just a free energy for all that. I mean, why they hold? I think that's the biggest thing. That's the secret part that they're trying to hold back. Not the whole. Maybe it's not the whole flying saucer stuff, because anti-gravity, like I said, has been working in the 50s. But maybe it's the propulsion system or the power unit that these things are using. That's what give the whole world free energy, and they can't have that.
Yeah. And so clearly, like, there's so many different angles here. That is definitely one of them, is the artificial scarcity, right? Except with energy. They do it with Oreo cookies, for crying out loud, right? They're like, oh, limited time, these fancy UFO Oreo cookies, right? It's no different than the other Oreo cookies. It's just in a different limited edition package, right? But you can eat Oreos till you die. Like, literally eat so many Oreos you die. They're not scarce. It's not a scarcity, but they can create it artificially to generate demand. And so in the same way, with energy, you could do the same thing. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like they do it with oil, right? They do it with diamonds, right? Blood diamonds. I mean, this is the upside down world we live in. And this is why we can't trust a damn thing, right? I mean, holy crap.
Yeah, that is correct, So, I mean, I don't know what, maybe I'm just kind of like, it's hard to be optimistic with the government and the military, because they're not gonna. I don't think they'll ever really say, like most people said, until those things. I mean, literally, like, come down or just float above above cities, like like Independence Day, and like, yep, here we are. I mean, that's the only really way people are gonna really, understand. Like, I mean, to have. Again, I don't know if there is a lot of people that we call woke or like are understanding now that, are into or started getting into this type of stuff. But I mean, it's life. I mean, there's life throughout the universes, and we ain't the only one. People, but I just want to know, I mean, give me all the information. I want to know, like, where they're from, what's going on. I mean, is it really that hard?
And stop lying to us, for crying out loud. Stop lying to us. Yeah, man. I appreciate it, Kelly. We got Jay behind you. We got to finish this show up. Anything else that we got you on? I don't want to tell you to go. If you got more to say, you're welcome to stay.
Yeah, man. Just a little bit. I just want to say that, yeah, man. Just people do your research as you guys want to see, like all the landings, all the stuff that's been happening in the world. I mean, this is like I said, nothing new. This is ancient history. We're just now seeing it. I mean, shit. The anti-gravity now. They're even talking about taking us. Yeah, I want to even be. I'll spend even a loan just to even go up to outer space. One of those things that go fly up there and they said they want to build a hotel up there. I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. So I want to get off planet myself. I'm like one of these people that doesn't really want to stick around here. I mean, I love the planet. Don't get me wrong. And it's beautiful and this is nice, but I want to see it all.
Amen.
But
Amen to that.
Other than that, man, I gotta go. So I'll be listening.
Appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah, you guys take it easy and have a good night.
Thanks a lot, bro. You too. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great night. Tell Michelle we said hi. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Right. Thanks, Kelly. All right. There we go. That's Kelly from Colorado, longtime caller. The first caller to this show, I believe. If you go all the way back, you can fact check me if you want. Go back to the archives, check it out. I'm pretty sure Kelly was the first. See what I did there? Kelly was the first dude to call into this show. At least that I remember. We're going to go with my memory for the fact check. All right, let's go to Jay. Jay in New York. How are you, my friend? Welcome to the show.
Fantastic, Mike. I mean, wow. I really want to know how you do it. You got a fantastic show after fantastic show every night. You really do. You just nail it.
It's just. Thank you. That's very nice of you. It's like automatic writing, right? It's like automatic talking. So I just kind of look at the news, pull up 20 articles, and then they're different. They can go different ways, and then I just start talking. And sometimes we get amazing calls, and sometimes I just keep talking. There you go. I don't know, man.
Well, there's sometimes I see in the beginning of the show, I feel like I should throw myself in the Discord there just to whatever,
Yeah.
Give you a chance to. But I love it when other people call in. I mean, Jack on the Moon, I think his name is. He's like beating around the bush about wanting to do it, and it's like, do it. Just do it.
Yeah,
you're not going to bite them.
I'll be nice to you guys. You see. There's basically probably like two people that if they call in, I won't be nice to them because they haven't been nice to me. But that's the ancient history. But remember, I don't forget. So don't be a dick, because I'll put you in the Rolodeck, and when you call back one day, I'll make you apologize. Don't forget. I don't forget. But I am nice. I was even nice to those people, and they're just they are who they are. They can't help themselves. I'm trying to have a good conversation for humanity, and that's the thing, right? Like if it's the same thing with the political spectrum. If you say something that goes against somebody's beliefs or whatever, they get pissed. But come on, that's not the way. That's not human nature. Like, we are literally brainwashed into hating each other. And I just hope we can get past it. Hope we can get over it, especially with stuff like this. There's no answers here. Nobody has the true answers. Even Richard Dolan, people like that, George Knapp. I'm sorry, they don't have the true answers, guys. They don't. Right? They're doing their best too with sources or whatever, but tons of research and interviews and reading books and all the things they do, right? They're good too. I'm just saying that, like, they don't know all the answers, because if they did, wouldn't they be driving the flying cars? Am I right, Jay?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I don't know if I saw in the chat or it was the first caller that called in, because so long ago, but where's the Tesla information? All those documents and everything else like that he took out of his hotel room when he died, an old decrepit man by himself and everything else like that. That guy had a plethora of knowledge that they don't even teach kids in school about it.
No.
I mean, he was in there with Marconi with the radio towers and the trains and everything else like that in the very beginning of, broadcasting one person to another person telephone calls. I mean, you're talking, I want to say that it was like 1897 or something. The Marconi Tower is here, and the train left Scranton, Pennsylvania, when they wanted to see whether or not they could broadcast back and forth to each other. I mean, that's here. I mean, it's right next to an ice cream shop. me and the kids go there. It's something that they did. It's history. But it's so little known. There's just a little teeny tiny plaque that this is the Marconi counter built and blah, 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 blah. And that's all you get to know about it, unless you go to the library or, get on Google or, Safari or whatever your, engine of choice is.
Exactly.
And look it up. And then the thing is your engine of choice is going to give you what, the clickbait and the commercials that are paying them the best amount of money to see, Right. And it's kind of a bummer, the UFO report. Bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer, right? So what do you think then about, so we talked about on Friday, I know most people are kind of underwhelmed by it, nothing burger, crap, garbage, whatever, like people are crap.
Didn't come with fries.
There you go. No fries, no drink. It was just, what a disappointment. Like they always say, they always fuck you in the drive-thru, right? This is kind of how you feel.
How many millions of bucks did that nothing burger cost us?
Exactly.
I mean, they've been working on that for 180 days, according to Monochrome, right?
Yeah, 180 days. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, let's pull up that website. Don't blame the aliens. Let's see if Bailey updated it.
We're on the plus side of that now, right?
Yeah, Bailey. Yeah, there we go. It's I recommended that she actually set it up so that it counts backwards, and sure as shit she put it up so it's counting backwards now. So now it's days since disclosure, so it's until UFO, but now we're at 3 days 21 hours 48 minutes since the UFO reports. So it's now we can kind of count it past. So we had the countdown 2, and then we have the countdown past, so we can kind of reference this and not guess.
And still waiting.
It's still waiting. Exactly. Here's don'tblamethealiens.com, coded by a friend of ours, Bailey. And there you go. That's the countdown since UFO disclosure. And now we're talking about the propaganda. So what do you think, Jay, regarding the UFO disclosure, the propaganda, and the rest of this stuff? Is it what's really happening here? So we have the government kind of clearly being super interested. We have comments from politicians all over the damn spectrum. We have the press paying very close attention. Again, like everybody's been saying tonight, everybody's been all over this, having basically the same conversation we're having. But now, right, how long do they stick with this? Do you think that there's an ulterior motive here? What's going on, man? What's actually happening with basically the reaction to the UFO report?
Well, from what I've seen through, the Facebook and the Instagram and all that stuff like that, the bright guy, the Dan Bongino, but no, is that his name?
Bongino.
Whatever.
Bongino. Yep.
Bongino. He made a big to-do about it. Tucker Carlson came out and made kind of a to-do about it, we're not focusing on it. We're allowing the conversation to happen mainstream wise. So if something really big happens, we can be like, oh yeah, well, we kind of told you about that 3 days. And is it still up there? 3 days, 21 hours and 50 minutes and 33 seconds ago.
Yep. Exactly.
We told you. The city-sized thing came down here and parked, like one of the callers said tonight. I'm sorry, I was bad at taking notes today. I forgot his name. Right in the front yard of the White House. Well, we told you it was going to happen. It was part of the disclosure. It was in that other category. We didn't really specify too much about the other. And I don't know. It is what it is, I mean, you have a show where you ask intelligent people to have a civil conversation about what's going on, and we do. Let's think about it a little bit. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the whole planet is like that big island in Hawaii where they got the biggest cattle reservation in the world, and they're just going to thin us down to the Rosicrucians, point. We've got too many people here, So they're going to come, they're going to eat us or freeze us or, pack us into meat or feed us to ash,
I hope not. I think.
Well, I mean, you got the nice packed Earth, compacted Earth bunker there.
Oh yeah, you like the bunker? The bunker?
Yeah. Well, you need some steel doors, dude. You're missing some steel doors. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, true. Really, I mean, underground. I mean, the cavemen lived, through this before. I mean, they were planting up there with, animal blood or, plants or whatever, and their little things, the Egyptians were chiseling it into stone,
Yeah.
Whatever, it is what it is, man. What are we going to do? I mean, you're going to need some F-15s and some nuclear bombs to take them on to prove your point.
That's what Biden has suggested.
Sorry, that was a bit that was a bit political, wasn't it?
That's all right.
We talk about aliens because it doesn't get political.
That's all right. Hey, so here's the thing. Let me point this out too. So last week when I was pulling information out here, we talked about those fake triangle UFOs that they exposed being a Photoshop hoax on Reddit, right? Somebody. This happens all the time. They think they're cute by posting something and then instantly deleting it, and then when that happens, right? People see it and they're like, "What the hell? It's gone now." But then the people that are clever end up getting copies of it anyway through an internet archive or whatever's going on, and then it's exposed as a hoax. But they get whoever it was initially gets the attention they were looking for, right? And I think that's part of the problem here is that you do these things for attention. People do these things for attention, like the press does this stuff for clickbait and all the rest of this. So I was talking about that, with the Black Vault and how they kind of exposed this. Let's pull this up real quick, and I'm gonna link this again if you guys haven't seen it. And again, stay on your guard, right? Stay on your guard. Like, there's fake UFOs, right? People are out there faking the hell out of this stuff and trying to fool us, right? Like, don't fall for it. Just don't fall for it. So here's another one. Speaking of, and I'm gonna end hard stop there on that statement. Now, I'm going to bring up what just happened today. Now, this is a tweet by Jeremy Corbell. All right, hard stop. What I just said. Now this is something different. All right, you make up your mind. This is from Jeremy Corbell, and he released this today. If you can, Jay, watch the stream. I'm reading it. Okay, I'm playing this right now. So if you can watch the stream here, it's basically some videos that were released today by Jeremy Corbell, and these are supposed to be from the deck of an aircraft carrier or a ship anyway, a naval ship, a naval military ship, and so this is actually. I mean, I don't know. It's basically some dots in the sky, right? And one of them's even flashing like an airplane.
Okay, I can see maybe some interceptors coming out there to see what the other guy is.
Yeah, maybe that was an F-15 flying by or something. F-18. Yeah. That could be.
I called in a couple of weeks ago and I was jumping up and down about the college kids next door going to give me what they caught with their camera, and they never did before they moved back to the New York City. Yeah. But yeah, that's similar. Very similar. But I mean, I don't know. So again, I'm gonna link it his Twitter, and he's got a post here where he's talking. It's about going back and forth from white to red, though.
Yeah. Well, and then the one seems to be flashing just like an airplane would. I don't know. Like I said, it seems to me like this one is less good than the last one, and the last one was not that good at all, right? It got almost instantly debunked, and I don't know. I mean,
it's like game vets out there, his truck and stuff like that, and he catches it on his dash cam on his rearview mirror. I mean, what kind of video quality are we really going to get on it? I mean, brilliant lightning storm today could have caught a bazillion awesome pictures if I was taking video and not a picture.
But not only that, so we're basically getting so this is the problem I have with all of this, or most of this, is we have these quote notable people, all right, that get leaks from not directly from the military, they get them from military personnel. So clearly that image or the video, of those lights in the sky, the UFOs per se, were taken by somebody with a cell phone, right? And then sent to Corbell, who's now releasing them. Like, this is not radar data. This is not like gun camera footage. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
does it match radar data?
Well, who knows? Because we don't have times and dates and all the rest of that stuff, like coordinates. Like, it's impossible to know. Not only that, if it's only picked up by the military, there's no way we would know anyway. It's all classified. But anyway, I mean, Karem says this was the explosive breaking footage that was expected to come. And that's exactly right. Like, Corbell's been teasing this for a week. Right? Like, oh, I'm going to release this on the same day as the UFO report. And it's like, oh, shit, here we go, right? And then he for whatever reason, he couldn't and he didn't. So now we get it today. And it hit just before we went on the show. So I pulled it up and had it ready to talk about. But I don't know, right? So is this any different than...
Clicker bait, clicker bait?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. And again, like, I think that... I don't know. I'm not going to say any more about Jeremy Corbell because it frustrates me. But it is what it is, right? And here we are trying to figure it out the best of our ability. And yeah, that's that. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Do you think the aliens are here, Jay? I've asked you that 100 times. I'll ask 100 more.
I think they've always been here in one shape or form. Somebody put in the chat today when I was sitting there reading it, trying to make sure people weren't being mean to each other. They've always been here. We're probably them. The people that listen to Troubled Minds are probably aliens, I think was the quote in the chat. We are. I mean, the remote viewing and things like that we talk about, people that are seeing the paranormal, the people that are seeing the aliens and stuff like that. One of the jokes, I worked at a bar called the Belmar, and the people that were the regulars there were called Bell Martians, which is kind of funny.
That is funny.
And that we're going to Mars and all now. But one of the things is, hey, you're alert. The world needs more alerts.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I mean, you have a perspective where you pick things up, and it's like, hey, man, I kind of understand what that person's talking about. Might not agree with it, might not disagree with it. I don't know, but I'll listen to them talk about it. I mean,
And there's no reason to get upset. I mean, like think about it. Like you talk politics, you talk religion. That's like the first way to trigger somebody, right? Politics, religion. But even so, like, just because you're of a particular religion, it doesn't disclude aliens, right? Like it doesn't. It just doesn't.
None of them do.
Yeah, none of them really do. Exactly.
Ezekiel's wheels, if you want to talk about the Christianity part of it.
Yeah. Well, now you've done it. Now you've really pissed everybody off.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I apologize.
I'm just kidding. We're okay. All right. So let's finish this up. Jay. Do you have a quote for us tonight?
Of course I do.
Oh, yeah. Fucking right.
Why wouldn't I?
Well, I don't know. Hey, man, sometimes we're human, right? We're human. All right, so here's the deal. We're going to do the outro with Jay. Again, this is Troubled Minds on Michael Strange. We do this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, which means we'll be back tomorrow. Ash, the reptilian from Mars, will be with us, and we'll be talking about more spitting hot alien fire. That's what we'll be talking about. So let's do the outro, Jay. Let's pick this music right here. Go right ahead, sir.
I'm bouncing back and forth between two as usual. Capitalism does not permit an even flow of economic resources. With this system, a small privileged few are rich beyond conscience, and almost all others are doomed to be poor at some level. That's the way the system works. Since now that we know we will not change the rules, we're going to have to change the system. Martin Luther King.
There you go.
I mean, we're talking about it. It's awesome. We're talking about it all over the world. I mean, now we're spread out over multiple channels. There's no way. We're done. I mean, we've got it. We've done it. Thanks to marijuana thanks to marijuana for winning the war on drugs.
There you go.
They can't compete. They're done with it. They can't do it. It's a weed. You can throw a handful of seeds down in the ditch in the middle of the highway, and there you have it. they disclosed it. They semi-admitted it last week. Okay, you're done. You basically proved yourself a liar. Now we know that you've been lying to us. So now it's up to our imagination. Now we're talking to the people that, personal experiences and things like that. Throw them all in a blender and we'll figure out which ones are true. The guys who's just being a juice box, as we tell the kids what to call them. For doing the CGI thing and cutting out the whale and leaving the tail in there just for their little signature to say, haha, I did it. Cut, 300,000 likes on Instagram or TikTok or whatever.
Hey man. I was going to say it. I was not going to say it. All right, so let's finish this up. Thanks, Jay. Fantastic stuff. I appreciate you being ready with a quote. Look, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Jay. We're us. You're you. Together, we're more of us. You understand? More of us means you can't fool all of us. All right? It's an important concept. It's an important notion. We're not going to fall for the propaganda. We're not going to fall for the crap. All right? Maybe once, maybe twice. You won't catch us forever. Everybody follow the Curious Bunny on YouTube. Thanks, Penny, for showing up. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific. Thanks again, Jay. Thanks, everybody, for the great calls tonight. Thanks for bailing me out. Let me drink some whiskey. I get a little cranky if I have to talk for 3 hours straight and can't sip some whiskey, so those calls are critical. Those calls are definitely important. So there we go. There we go. All right. As it ends, you know the deal. Thanks for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. God willing. God willing. We're not the boss. The universe is bigger than us. Thanks, Jay. Have a great night, guys.
Good night, Mike. Good night, all.